They do not know the rising towers of Hillbrow. They do not know the sprawling suburbs of the north. They do not know the sweet sounds of isiXhosa, Afrikaans, Sesotho. They do not know our ways. They do not know our people. They do not know us. We are not waiting for permission. We are not asking to be seen. We are our own region. We are SSA, RSC Johannesburg, RSC Nairobi, RSC Saint-Denis. This is not just a league, it is a movement. 4 seasons deep, and we are only just beginning. We train on 200 ping. We grind through blackout. We fight through silence. And we win anyway. This is Sub-Saharan Africa. This is our fight. This is Season 4.
Two champions have already been crowned. 2 are yet to be determined. Good evening, everybody. My name is Rhino. I'm going to be a host for this evening's Elite Action as we find out who takes home the RSC SSA Season 4 Championship in Elite Tier. As always, we are thrilled to be bringing you this on the RSC SSA Twitch channel. But if you would like a second perspective, if there are any games that we are not showing on the A stream that you want to go and take a look at on our B stream, everything is being streamed today. You can head over to the next stand and they will have all of the action from whichever game we are not covering. And we will talk you through that in a little bit as we get to it. But first, let's take a look, as always, at our calendar for the season. We always bring this up, and it's starting to lose more and more color week by week, stream by stream. Only 2 colors remain, green and blue. And tomorrow, there will only be 1 remaining. What a season it's been. So much has been going on. And as always, we can't run the season without sponsors. They run our whole production, starting with the people who literally do that. It's Genisus Extreme. Wonderful, wonderful group of people who run our streams every single week here on RSC SSA. We thank them so much for supporting Rocket League here in SSA. As well as them, we've also got Nearstream, who are supplying all of our equipment for our Stellenbosch a couple of weeks ago, as well as the fact that they also have some wonderful offers for you people at home. Some really reasonably priced streaming gear that you can go and pick up. Search Nearstream on Google. And last but certainly not least, it is Slayer Energy, our prize pool sponsor. We had a flat prize pool of 15,000 Rand, but Slayer Energy came in and said, we want to bolster that by giving RSC SSA its own can. And by doing so, every single box bought added 50 Rand to our prize pool, which means we now sit on 18,400 Rand as our prize pool for Season 4 RSC SSA. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors from start to finish of this season. And we are very nearly finished at that. Tonight's action, though, looks like this. As I mentioned, you can see right there, Stream A is where you're going to find us here on RSC_SSA. Stream B over on the next stand. So we're going to kick things off with Cosmico versus Monarch, the 2 current champions already in Prospect and Rival respectively. They now fight in Elites to get through to the semi-finals. When we do come back after that game, we will be watching Ox Gaming take on whoever won Play in 1, whether that's Unity or White Rabbit. A lot of bad blood between those 2 organizations. And then, of course, here on the A stream, a little bit later on tonight, we expect it to be around 9 p.m. SAST. We will have the best of 7 grand final to determine the Elite champions. Right, well, With that covered, let's waste no more time and bring on two people who are going to talk us through a lot of the action tonight. And we have a full non-SSA desk, depending on what Sir Pegasus tells you. But I'm going to tell you right now, he's lying to you. It is Borky and Pegasus. It's a pleasure to have you both on. Borky, I'm going to come to you first because Pegasus is very upset with my first point. How are you tonight?
Doing great. A pleasure to be back here for 3 days in a row of non-stop SSA action, especially once we do get into the playoffs. And now we're just jumping up the tiers more and more. Elite, this is where things start to heat up and become a bit more tense.
Yeah, it certainly is. Speaking of tense, Pegasus has been very upset with me for the last 30 seconds, so we'll give him a chance to speak. How are you tonight, Pig?
I was doing all right. I was doing okay. Heading in to say, I was actually quite excited about the action until my heritage just got denied right in front of me by my lovely host for the day. But in all seriousness, there has been so much enthusiasm about today's playoffs. The Green Room is the most excited it has ever been for one of these stages, at least that I have witnessed. Mentions of so many of the teams that are on this bracket with potential to go all the way, which cannot really say the same for previous days. So Elite, it's in my opinion the best tier in Europe, RSC, and I feel like that pattern might just continue over here in sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah, we'll certainly see if it does. As we've already seen by the bracket, we have a lot of action tonight, none more so than this first game. Monarch Kings taking on Cosmico Luna Borky. These two teams had very different ends to the season, I think it's fair to say, as we can take a look at the standings. Cosmico on 5-3-1, but it's worth mentioning that 4 of those 5 came in the last 4 weeks of league play. They are on a hot streak going into the playoffs. Meanwhile, Monarch Realm 3-2-4. Again, 2 of those victories in the last 4 weeks, but losses interspersed between them. Not quite as hot as maybe Cosmico are.
Yeah, no, definitely. As we look at the end of the season, both of these teams on those different paths. I mean, Monarch barely saving themselves at the end on their week 9 matchup there. The only reason they did get into the play-ins is because of goal differential. You can see they're exactly tied with AZG for the game wins. And then for Cosmico, super hot streak right now. And I'm sure they're going to be hoping to continue that into the playoffs. I mean, out of the past 5 weeks, they've only had 1 draw and they've won the other 4.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fascinating to have a look at, and of course we can see every other team in the table as well. Pegasus, is there anyone across the teams you see in front of you that you're particularly looking at for grand finalists and maybe even champions of Elite tier?
Oh, well, I do like, of course, a little bit of a run from the playing stage, and I feel like if there is a team to do it, of course, Cosmico are going to be in those conversations, as they have been in every single tier so far. But I guess a not-so-sleeper pick could also be Unity Esports playing rivals White Rabbit Gaming as well in that first round for the quarterfinals. I reckon if they can take on those demons moving forward, they could build up that bit of confidence to get themselves in that grand final spot. But of course, Ox Gaming to beat in that second round, should they survive the first, of course, is going to be quite the challenge.
It certainly is, and let's talk about that first round for a moment then. Borky, you've already touched on it. This is a big match between Cosmico and Monarch when you talk about the way that both of these teams come into this play-in matchup, but nothing is decided and anything can happen on any given day. What do Monarch Kings need to do on this given day to topple one of the top teams?
Honestly, for Monarch, you just kind of have to come into it thinking that it's a fresh season. You know, the end of your season was a little shaky. You barely got that win in order to secure your spot in the play-ins. So just brush that aside. I know that I was a big stressor of you worked 9 weeks straight to get to this point, so you don't want it to go to nothing. But you just have to reset mentally if you are the Monarchs. You know, just fresh slate, clean slate. You haven't played any of these matches before, but you only have one chance, so you got to make the most of it.
Absolutely, you do. You only get one shot, so make it count. You may never get this moment again before. So let's go in to the first game of the night. We are looking at the play-ins. It is going to be Cosmico Luna taking on Monarch Kings. Take us away, gents.
And there's been some history between these rosters, but it's been quite some time since they last faced each other. Luna versus Kings, week 2 matchup. It was a victory for Cosmico and their only series win in the first half of the season. Like Rhino said, they've been on quite the winning streak with 4 wins out of their last 5, but they've got 5 series wins total. So Kings were one of those only teams to face defeat in those early stages, but now later in the season, hopefully a bit more warmed up and ready to be pushed to their full potential at this play-in stage. You've got to expect the most out of them.
Well, this is my favorite part about this. Yesterday, Sir Pegasus, you and I had the pleasure of casting Monarch and Cosmico in the grand final for the rival tier. Now we're in Elite. We're at the very bottom, the very start of playoffs, and these two organizations are once again facing off again. And I'm pretty sure Cosmico is going to be looking to get a little bit of revenge for their rival or the rival brethren.
Well, you can literally say that in Rival is where the rivalry was made between these two teams, and there is actually management on the Kings roster as well. Both a GM and an AGM, Wabbit and our good friends Falcon, are listed on that roster, so they can be masters of their own destiny now upcoming in this series. And I am getting the call that players will be joining the pitch very soon. It feels like a little bit of a rematch for us here, Borky, but the format is no longer best of 7. We went quite the distance with a Neo Tokyo finish in the game beforehand, and Cosmico showed us that they could reverse sweep in the first round of play-ins, but this is a different tier. This is a higher level, and this is Elite in RSC SSA.
And it's all going to be about setting that pace, setting your momentum for the rest of today early. We've seen, okay, well, not like that. That's not how you're going to be wanting to start your day, with a little bit of a miscommunication there on the back line. Forward high looks, gets that touch there, and then Monarch, it just seems like the scramble was a bit too much for them.
Shake it off, reset on the kickoff. It's only the first 20 seconds of what could be a rather long affair with these two teams playing. Mozi flicks that ball forward, right? And we'll keep this one towards the corner. Mozi, though, an extra touch onto it. I was heading towards that top corner. It's well defended by Cosmico, and it's showing that from those tight angles, Monarch can catch a team by surprise. So far, Cosmico reserved enough to keep the ball out of net. With that back pass, will eventually find a teammate.
High fly aware, just trying to get him downfield. Does get it towards forward high looks. Ryan trying to get the connection there as well. But look at this from Monarch. They're really picking up their challenges here. And it was all the way from the center line. Just somebody from Monarch was insta-challenging, putting pressure on this ball. Rabbit just happened to be served that ball in a silver platter, and he'll easily dish that up for a goal.
That was a team bump as well between Senpai and Flyaware, and it was the most unfortunate team bump I've ever seen, because that's what ended up bouncing that ball back into the center. I feel like it's 2 plays so far which hasn't shown the most extravagant gameplay that these two teams have to offer. This was a little bit more well worked. It was a heavy touch there from Moti, forced out by Hilux. Flyaway is prepared as that second man, and Senpai just gets that job done. Now it's Monarch's turn to try and respond with some regular Rocket League.
Both of these teams did make their goal line mistakes. We can brush that aside now, get all of those nerves and jitters out, and we can get back to the proper Elite Rocket League that we were looking for here. But Cosmico trying to run up this lead if they can. Rabbit gets a good clearance here. This one will bounce off the corner into the midfield. Big bump does come out, but Ronaldo isn't able to capitalize on that one. Mozi keeps it in here towards target. Ryan Senpai has to jump. Monarch trying to get some of this pressure developed here. Cosmico's been a very strong offensive team all season. We've seen it time and time again. And for Monarch, if they can keep them pinned on their own final third, it's going to alleviate a lot of those worries and fears as Wabbit tries to get that one down. But Ronaldo, lost an own goal.
Wow, they've already got us somewhat nervous with a lot of these back passes and their plays on their own lines. Well, you can call this one the warm-up. It is the one to get the day started here in the Elite Division. Wabbit has to tip this one over. He is the high CMB player in the team, the GM as well. If you're looking at a player that must lead by example, it has to be him for Monarch. He'll take that ball inside. Senpai gets the clearance out. Might be available as well for a second move. These shots is blocked. There's two purple cars here in the corner. A little bit of spacing does follow. Zero boost all around. And Ronaldo once more hits on the other side of the back wall. But again, too tight for my liking.
Yeah, it just makes me a little anxious each time I see him go back like that. But hey, maybe it's all part of his plan. He's done it twice and hasn't put it in his own net yet. So that maybe it's a little bit of an intimidation thing against Cosmico as well. Show him that he's just not afraid to put the ball near his net. But we'll see Mozi trying to collect us here. Ford Hilux keeps us in. Wabbit is now called up next to the occasion. I fly aware. Insta challenge here from the midfield. Gets it past one. Mozi has to go there from the goal line. Wabbit, big boom downfield. But again, it's Ford Hilux that just continues to intercept these Monarch attempts to get towards net.
Down low for Ronaldo. Once in the net as well. We'll open up the space. He can go for that second chance. Doesn't keep the ball between the sticks. That was fine in his own third. You've got to be putting those away in the other. Wabbit caught in the 50 in the corner. Flyaware once more with that follow-up of pure perfection. Cosmico so good at leading for those teammates' chances. But Monarch's team a lot more coordinated on their defensive lines now. They're not going to let this one squeak in too early. But with 1 minute remaining, they need to cause some more late drama.
It's really impressive here for Monarch that they've been able to keep this game only within one. They've had their chances, but they need to find another one soon here. This clock isn't going to last forever as it just continuously ticks down. Final 30 seconds will be reminded here for everyone. Ronaldo gets us downfield. He has teammates. He has options. He has a shot towards net. Ford Hilux plays that off the backboard, gets the clearance, but Wabbit able to collect us, able to keep Monarch moving here. But with this big clearance here from iFlyAware and Ford Hilux just killing more of the clock. They're going to get down here to one final opportunity. Ronaldo gets the clearance they needed. Oh, it's a redirect from Mozi. Wabbit on the follow-up in front of net. Nobody there for the rebound. Ball still kept alive, though. All Ford Hilux needs to do is touch ground, and Cosmico will take game one.
I hate to start off the stream like this, but that was not an elite caliber game whatsoever from either side. Gotta cut them some slack. Of course, it is the first game of the day, but if your ultimate goal is to go all the way and take that trophy, I need to see a step up from both of these teams in the second game. That looks nervy, that looks jumpy, it didn't look controlled whatsoever. There were a few moments where Cosmico were able to string some challenges together up forward. Monarch had some time in the midfield as well. But in terms of their overall game right now, really need to see some step-ups in this second game. Maybe that first game was what they needed. This reset is well heading into the second for them to just calm themselves down, settle into the nature of a playoff stage. And we should expect an increase in performance, especially because there are actually players here that have experience at this stage for RSC SSA.
Yeah, no, I mean, you don't really have the luxury of some of the later rounds in the playoffs as well. If it being that best of 7, the best of 5, you can't make as many mistakes as we saw here in game 1 because they're going to cost you. And I mean, 2 of them were very costly there on the sides for Monarch. So they really just need to regain, get their feet established under them once more as we head into this game 2 kickoff.
But one factor still remains between Cosmico and Monarch as organizations. It's these one-goal games, those tight affairs, not much to put between either side. And that's what calls for that pure perfection. That's how one error will change the course for the rest of your day. Flyware wants to take that one low. Ryan Senpai's going to have to play this one to the corner. Mozi, we all chase with 0 boost. I'm not sure if Hylix was aware of it, but still had that bravery to take that first controlled touch. And now it's themselves starving for a bit of energy here. Mozi gets fortunate, but that ball bounces off that post. That one was a chance wasted for Cosmico. It's Monarch's first real attack. Mozi wants to make the most of it. A hop, skip, and a jump past the first 2 players. Does end up with a recovery from Flyaware. Pinch once more. Ronaldo to the corner. It's been a fast start, especially on the side of Cosmico. Shot on, there you go.
Oh, look at this here from iFlyware. Gets the ball downfield and then instantly just goes to disrupt Monarch's chances of getting the ball in the half. And that's something we'll see here a lot more in Elite, is in comparison to some of the other tiers, is that first man, once you get your touch, your job's not done. And we saw that perfectly from iFlyware, just getting 2 huge bumps there, and then the ball pops right up for Ford Hilux, who slots it in. And Cosmico once again back into the lead, and it's going to be an unlucky 50 for Monarch, as Ryan Senpai puts a bit more weight behind this one and just forces it all the way through.
That's so unfortunate for Mozi. Just flicks that ball way too early, and that's what allows Senpai to go for that late challenge, force his way through with all that momentum behind him. That's simply an unstoppable chance for Monarch to deal with. This one has its capabilities. It was tough though for Wabbit, and he did well to keep the ball out of the net temporarily, but ultimately that first touch just got into that danger area so well. Hilux had that wide clearance covered as well, and Flyware consistently, again, has been that far second man for Cosmico. You feel like you've dealt with the first, but he is always available there for the loose balls.
I mean, instantly off the kickoff as well, just collecting another loose ball, instantly putting Cosmico back onto the pressure for Monarch. This is not the game 2 you might have been hoping for. You lost by 1 in game 1, and now you're down 3 here. Luckily, you do have more time left here on the clock in comparison, but it's not the best start. We'll get a shot here from Wabbit, but it's Ford Hilux there holding his own on the goal line. Had a Monarch player try to charge him down as well, but the confidence and composure keeps that ball out. Ronaldo once again trying to snipe Wabbit upfield. Won't be able to collect. Mozi can't keep it in here either. Ryan Senpai trying to get us here to Ford Hilux. The corner. Bit of a team pass, and I really appreciate that. Even though you had to go backwards towards your own net, it does allow you a bit of breathing room, but just look at how quick Cosmico is getting to these touches.
Back ball by read there by Hilux, but there was a double commit, so that transition from Monarch could be the one that grabs him that first goal, though they equal them with a double. Now back to neutral ground. Cosmico steal that ball right back. Hilux has an opportunity for that 50. Wabbit maintains all his boost as well, available for this counter-attack. Should Ronaldo find his teammate instead to Mozi. Wabbit can bump a Hilux as that one-man brick wall in net keeps the ball out. They maintain their clean sheet, and this could end up being a clean sweep as well if their fortunes continue. Looks like that could be the case on the other side of the bracket, as Unity are a whole game ahead of us right now with a 2-0 series victory.
Yeah, Cosmico trying to continue that winning streak that they were on, and when they're putting out shots like that, it's very compelling. Both of them will go wide off of the post, but it's those opportunities and those looks that drain the boost here from Monarch. It causes those defenders to go. It cuts off the rotation, and iFlyware. Oh my goodness, he's behind the ball, trying to get that up to right set by, but it's still floating in, and it'll just go in itself.
One thing you cannot deny about Cosmico is their creativity in every single tier. Senpai, no intent of getting the ball, goes straight for the man, living up to the slogan, I fly, you fly, we all fly. 4-0 Cosmico.
Monarch need something now. Not only are you looking at potentially being shut out of this game, but there's a match point looming here for Cosmico if they win this, and it's just gonna be another one from iFlyAware. There's his hat trick. There's your insult to injury. Monarch, do something.
This is looking like the team that have won 4 out of their last 5. The late season consistency from Cosmico now bleeds to the playoff stages, and no matter your ceiling heading into this point, once more, this purple organization is one to fear. Monarch have to shut them down, but it's gone from bad to worse as this series progresses, and that fine wine that is Cosmico will continue to fester.
And maybe just something for the road here, something for some bit of consolidation on the Monarch side. You just can't allow Cosmico to continue to run up their confidence. Rocket League's such a game of momentum, and right now Cosmico controls all of this. This is gonna be an open net, right? If I don't do it to him, oh my goodness, what a follow-up double tap there.
And I can tell you what immediately happened as that ball hit the back of the net. Our good friend Desolation in the background just snapped his replay button. Sneaky double tap to make it 6-0. Appeared like an open net, as you said, but still, there was a job to be done. But if this game had not felt like free play already for him, that play certainly did. Ronaldo wants to tip this ball forward, just looking to try and grab something out of this game to build up onto the next one, because it is a reverse sweep that is required. They'll take any help they can get, but Cosmico do not allow a single thing for them. Looking to rip those crowns away, Luna put themselves on match points.
And look at those goals there over on the side of Cosmico. 1, 2, 3. Everyone on that team involved. And I mean, yes, just look at the shot comparison between Monarch and Cosmico here. Like, it speaks for itself. The level of domination and field possession that Cosmico was just creating the entirety of game 2. And it really just felt like Monarch couldn't get themselves picked back up at that point.
That was a simple case of ask and you shall receive. What did I ask for after that first game, Borky? I said that these teams need to step up if they want to convince me of having any chances deeper down the bracket. Cosmico gave me exactly that in the second game, but of course their consistency needs to be maintained in the playoff stages. But if you pair that with their results that they were able to grab at the end of the season in the build up to this point, those Cosmico supporters at home, and there are many at the moment in chat, are going to have beaming smiles on their faces.
Yeah, and I mean, we always want to pick a team from the lower group of the play-ins to make a crazy run. We saw it over in Prospect with AZG, and right now, Cosmico, they're trying to become everyone's favorite team here to make that run. They sit on series point, but you have to keep this in mind. The last 2 days on the mainstream for the play-in round 1, we've had a reverse sweep. Monarch, are they up to the challenge? They have 2 up here towards net, towards target. Mozi can't follow up as the third man. Ball still hanging around here, but Fort Hilux just opts to try to collect, and we'll reset here after the kickoff.
Also, result has come in on the other side of a bracket. Play in round 1. Unity versus White Rabbit Gaming ends in a sweeping victory for Unity. The rivalry taken on in the Elite play-ins. They will now progress to play Ox Gaming from enemies to actually partners in their run to the grand final. Quite the journey for them, but here Cosmico look to land a sweep of their own with an opening shot in the first minute. A snipe from their own box from Ryan Senpai.
And it just goes all the way in. I mean, you even saw Fort Hilux was sitting downfield, maybe looking to cherry pick that one. But what are you supposed to do if you're Monarch when there's just so much confidence on this side of Cosmico that the shot comes from halfway across the field? And Fort Hilux is just chilling on your final third.
It is such a terrifying sight because it feels like there's a player in every single area of the pitch for Cosmico right now, and they're all very individually capable to hold their own despite the amount of space surrounding them. They don't necessarily need a second man to pick up the pieces because there will be no pieces to pick up in the first place. Hilux booms his ball forward yet again. There's a player waiting. It's Flyaway who can't land that redirect, but once more, keeping Monarch on their toes, force them to stay back as well onto their own back lines. They didn't want to try and make that read for that ball in case Flyaway pulled off that redirect. It's one of those moments where just the appearance of a player is, if anything, as valuable as him touching the ball in the first place. Ryan Senpai, certainly a scary sight here in the corner.
You couldn't agree more, because especially as we do get into this elite tier, you have to respect the possibility of any of these touches that could come out. Flyaway gets a great pass here to forward Hilux. And then with that lone defender from Monarch stuck on an island, no resources. They just have to jump and pray. But unfortunately for them, that prayer won't be answered because Cosmico's now up 2.
Where was this Cosmico in game 1? I know they won, but it was on rather shaky grounds and fell more to the mistakes of Monarch than the excellent gameplay of Cosmico. But this second and third, it's been all them with control. And one opportunity that Monarch get once more saved by a Cosmico player. Now approaching 8 goalless minutes for Monarch. Cosmico have been able to keep those sheets clean in game 2. Look to repeat that feat in the third, but Monarch have had a little bit of a blip here in the game where they've had a few opportunities forward, and Cosmico have been messy on defense, but they've worked their way out of the chaos. Hilux, though, knows they're not out the woods yet. Ball down here by Wabbit. Second man has to get involved at that front post. It's Flyaway to bail away for Senpai. Higher boost, higher chances, but Wabbit gets it to Mosey instead.
And it's not like Monarch is being shut out this game here. They are getting chances. There's a couple that looked like it surely should have been their goal, their ticket back into this game. But it's just this Cosmico defense. They're so quick to swarm around the ball. Finally, though, Mosey off the sidewall will take advantage of an opening that is very rare and few in this game. With a minute 52, Monarch, hold your breath, because you might have a chance.
Got a case study as well. These reverse sweeps are doable. The very organization you face were able to pull it off here on the mainstream. Same pressures applied. That's a scary challenge for that front post. You start to believe that another goal for Cosmico does take this game slightly out of reach. Monarch are playing for an OT at this rate. 90 seconds left on the clock. Opportunities have built up as this game has gone on. But they've been rather wasteful. It's a big bunch up at the front post as well from Cosmico, who haven't been best prepared in their defensive efforts. It's been more their brilliance than positioning that's carried them all away! And the mechanics as well! It's Hilux to make it free. It's Hilux to potentially send Luna to the semi-finals.
The control, the patience, and the follow-up is so beautiful there. You can hang it in a museum. Forward Hilux stepping up time and time again here for Cosmico, being that star factor and why they have been so dominant in the last game, and then especially in this game. Yes, Monarch do have a goal. They need to get another one here because their chances are looking to be swept away. It's going to be another one just rocketed towards their own net. Ryan Senpai up there, follow up, forward Hilux, bottom right, it's good.
And that should be the nail in the coffin. And Hilux has been that man with a hammer, slamming it in every single time. Monarch have been defeated. Monarch have been dethroned. And Cosmico get revenge for their rival brethren. Still 40 seconds to hold on to, but this feels like a victory lap. Monarch need a miracle.
And I mean, that miracle needs to come in right now, but with how Cosmico is still just putting up the offense now, it feels like there's not a lot of options or time left to will yourselves back into this one. That would have been it for Wabbit, but it goes wide. Once again, Ronaldo keeps us in, but with this final countdown on our screen, Cosmico, you can put your controllers down because you've guaranteed your spot to the semifinals in a sweeping fashion.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. They want to keep themselves warm, though. Fingers stay moving, and Monarch get one for the road. It's time for them to pack their things. They fought valiantly this season of RSC SSA. We'll see you back for number 5. Already former champions of the RSC Elite Division are knocked off their perch. Cosmico, that organization that has stood in everyone's way, once more make a progression.
I mean, even that last goal there for Monarch, it was off of Ryan Senpai's own goal. So it just kind of take that away from them as well. And I mean, Monarch unfortunately weren't able to stop the bleeding at the end of the season there, but it was a valiant effort, especially that game 1. They really came out and tried to make a statement, but Cosmico just seemed to have things a little bit more under control there.
We've never seen a Cosmico organization be absent for the grand finals so far this season, and Rhino, with them being able to pull off bloodbaths like that, are we really surprised?
I think it's fair to say no, we are not. This is a Cosmico that we are very accustomed to seeing so far this week, and it does continue. They march on to the semi-final to play against Deathcloud, which will be available on the B stream. But as we watch through these highlights, it's just a reminder of the absolute demolition job that Cosmico were able to accomplish here tonight. And I mean, I did hear you guys say at the end of that cast that Monarch Kings fought valiantly, but Borky, just talk to me for a moment. Is that being a little bit kind, maybe?
I mean, I think they did fight valiantly, and I'll say why, because it wasn't like, besides game 2, yes, that was being polite for game 2, but game 1, that was only one goal that separated them. And then even though the scoreline didn't really reflect anything too flashy there for Monarch, they had chance after chance. They were getting possession, they were creating plays and opportunities. It was just Cosmico were really one step ahead of them at all times. And that rotation on defense that Cosmico was able to get, it was super rhythmic, and it just felt like there wasn't any answers for it.
Yeah, especially the man we're seeing a couple of highlights of now, Ford Hilux. He was absolutely on one, certainly in that final game of the day, as Cosmico will rely on him, certainly, as they move forwards in the competition. And speaking of moving forwards in the competition, we do have our semi-final coming up very, very shortly. But Pegasus, I'm going to come to you as well, because although, yes, people will talk about Monarch Kings in the way of their, the opening goal of the series was an own goal. There were a fair few missteps. You can't take away from the performance that Cosmico had, certainly in games 2 and 3. It looks like they were unplayable.
Absolutely, we mustn't forget about Cosmico's first goal was first concession, was essentially an own goal as well. It was a bit disastrous for the beginning in that first game, but one team was simply able to recover themselves and play closer to how they did in those later stages in league play. And Cosmico, with all the success that they have had in the late season, it shouldn't be so surprising that they were able to step up, but it was just the big difference we saw in their talent levels between game 1 and game 2 especially, which had me completely shocked. Because I'll be honest, in that first game I said whoever's going into that semi-final, they are going to get absolutely decimated. That's what I was thinking in the back of my head. Now I'm not so sure with that recovery from Cosmico. And on that point before about how valiantly Monarch played, I do genuinely believe that. They played with hearts, they never gave up, but hearts can only get you so far when Ford Hilux is flip resetting and double tapping over your head.
Yeah, absolutely. That does tend to happen. But Borky, I do want to ask you one final question. Of course, Cosmico do go on to play top of the table. Ox Gaming Aurochs. I'm definitely not pronouncing that right, but my next guest will be able to correct me. A team that is 6-2-1, but by the same token, Cosmico have something over Ox Gaming in the fact that they have now won 5 series on the bounce in RSC. Can they get the job done and go to their 3rd final of the week?
Ooh, that one's gonna be close. I'm not. I think that's over on the B stream, and I would have both of these games open up because Ox has been on a very hot streak over here, and Elite. They have something to prove. We've seen them a couple times on the broadcast throughout all 9 weeks, and every single time that Ox is on stream, they step up to the occasion. I don't know if they just like the spotlight and they can handle the pressure of it, but I think that Ox is going to show why they're that #1 seed.
Very interesting. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for covering that game. We appreciate the both of you. We're going to let you both have a game off before you come back for the grand final a little later on. So we're going to march on here, though, on the main stream as we look ahead to the semi-final coming up in just a moment, which, of course, is going to be Ox Gaming and Cosmico. Very, very excited to see this game. And, of course, as a reminder, if you would... sorry. My fault. We're not going to watch Ox Gaming versus Cosmico. I have been completely wrong, and the whole way I've been describing things has been completely wrong. I do apologize to everybody. We'll be watching Ox Gaming versus Unity. That makes a lot more sense. And here we go. So there is the proof. There's your bracket. Ox Gaming versus Unity here on the A stream. Meanwhile, over on the B stream, it will be the battle of the purple brands. It's going to be Cosmico Esports taking on Death Cloud Esports. Two teams on very, very good runs to end the season. Death Cloud 7 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss on the season as well. So no less difficult, certainly for the side of Cosmico. But it will be Ox versus Unity as, of course, these two organizations broke up at the end of RSC Season 3. Of course, Unitox was here before. Unfortunately, now it is going to be the separated teams who will come through with the victory. We'll find out in a moment. And when we do, I have a very exciting guest coming through for the cast on the next game. But hopefully, as I say, we will get that organized for you in just a moment's time. A big shout out, as I say, to the B stream as well. The next stand on Twitch. If you would like to go and watch Death Cloud versus Cosmico, you can go to Twitch channel, The Next Stand, all one word, and they will be able to bring you all the action coming from that semi-final on that side of the bracket. But for us, as I have mentioned, it is the top of the table. The top dogs with Ox Gaming taking on Unity. I want to talk to chat. I want to talk to you guys directly. We've got 33 people in chat. How are we doing this evening? Let me know who you think is going to win the entirety of Elite tier this season. I've got Come On Cosmico in chat. Cosmico season for sure. I'm seeing that. Absolutely. I'm seeing someone call me the GOAT, which I very much appreciate. Thank you very much, Tubbsy. I'm trying to look back and see if we've got anything else. Ford being Ford, he certainly was in that last game. Goodness gracious me. That was insane. Credit as well. Yeah, thank you very much, Pegasus. Appreciate you. Cosmico going through. Yeah, absolutely. Aussie, no. Simple as that. Let's go Ox coming through from Popcorn. Love that. Absolutely. People starting to make their allegiances known. So, dear. Raze is asking who I think will win. I am an impartial adjudicator hosting the evening. I am not one to say who that I'm going to choose, but Ox for the win. Okay, I'm seeing a few different opinions, and now joining me on the desk is a man who is not scared to share his opinions. We have got the wonderful Greybeard. He thought he was getting a night off tonight. He thought he was going to be able to put his feet up and watch some TV, but Greybeard, you're here to broadcast some RSC SSA.
I was chilling and thrilling, watching everybody else work, but here we are. But not a bad thing, because my goodness, what a season Cosmico are having. And they have just scythed their way through into a semi-final. So that was quite something to watch.
Yeah, and I mean, at your detriment as well, right? An ex-Monarch player joins me on the desk, so I can imagine that was a little bit painful for you to see. Not as painful as it was to be in the same VC as Sean, but either way, we are going to get onto this one. So, Greybeard, talk to me a little bit. Ox and Unity, the breakup of the century.
Oh, wow. What
we
a
have got
matchup.
this game coming up. What a game! And I mean, a lot of people are going to be pointing towards Ox to take home this game based on their position in the table. But credit to Mzansi Magic. 3-0 sweep in the other play-in. Looking good tonight.
Yeah, but if we look at the, if we take the last 2 nights of playoffs, one of the 2 teams who finished top 2 didn't make it through to the grand final. So that's kind of been a theme. So we expect one of the 2 to not make it. But I'm not sure that it's going to be Ox. But my goodness, I mean, this is the ultimate grudge match, though, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Stones and Voodoo, my word, would they both love so much to get one over on the other.
And I mean, we did talk about it a little bit earlier on as well. The other play-in match was Unity versus White Rabbit, which has its own lore and its own kind of things going on in the background. But as I say, this is arguably a bigger rivalry at this point between these 2 organizations. And Unity coming in as the underdogs, but this is not a position unfamiliar to Unity. They're very much going to be feeling like they're going to be okay moving in. And they've got the hot hand, you have to remember. They're the ones who've just played a competitive series. And Ox are going to be coming in cold. So do you think that's going to be a factor in this series?
Well, Ultrasm and I were having a long convo about that yesterday, and I do think you come in with an extra bit of buff, having just played and won a series. No matter if the other team's been scrimming and whatever, but is that, let's call it a 10% buff added to their level? Will that be enough to overcome Ox? We don't know. It's all academic until we see what they do out on the pitch.
Here we go. It's going to be Ox Gaming represented by Sonic, Tim Tam, and Eclipse. And it's Sonic, the first man I mentioned, who goes through and gets the opener. Ox Gaming showing absolutely no signs of being cold. They start the game with a 1-0 lead.
All right, you're going to have to keep talking through because I lost my connection for a moment. I am back and in. But there we go. Ox Gaming out the gate. They wasted no time. But you can often disregard that sort of right off the kickoff goal. I mean, look, you absolutely have the advantageous position of having a goal up, but so much time left in the game for Unity to get on there. But you feel it would need to be the underdog to have that early opportunity, and it's not. And maybe a second. Here it is. Oh, and it's Clerks. The prospect prodigy from last season banging his way, second goal for Ox, and now maybe I can start talking seriously about Ox being favorites here.
Yeah, I do have to call out Stolzy a little bit at that right post. I'm not sure the ball was destined for the net until it was touched by the Unity man. It may have hit the post and gone in, but it certainly was going to hit the post, and there's time at that moment to change things. Oh my goodness, they're going again. This time it does hit that post, and Capello tries to bring it away. Blocked out. Tubbsy now going to be the man to try and maraud down there the left side, but oh, there's a team bump going on in the net, and Unity are not playing like a team that have just won a 3-0 competitive game, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, we were. I was certainly making a lot of the buff of having just played a series and warmed up and coming in with some momentum. But my goodness, of the 2 teams, it is Unity looking like the team that have come in cold. They're still yet to arrive in this game. Meanwhile, Ox taking charge. Maybe an opportunity here, and Tubbsy, not to be spoken down to, gets Unity on the board.
Unity heard Greybeard talking trash, and they decided it was time to unleash Tubbsy. And that's exactly what they do. Bottom left-hand corner, Unity back in the game with 3 minutes 30 to go. But Clerks might want to close that door immediately. Can't find the double. And there's no real boost for Tim Tam either, but that starts to be a theme with everybody on the field struggling for boost in the end. Clerks does take some off the ceiling, now looking into the middle of the field, keeps possession of the ball under severe duress. That's very impressive from him to get the ball into Unity's half, but in the end they send it away. Capello trying to break. Not going to go beyond the halfway mark though, Greybeard, and Ox Gaming trying to exert the pressure onto the Unity half.
Oh, bang, there we go. Sunik, and they gets the third for Ox. And my word, well, there we go. They went quiet for a while. During that quiet period, Unity snuck in a goal, but back to the 2-goal advantage. And Rhino, of the 6 players on the field, I am unfamiliar with Capullo. Is it Capulio? Capulio and Sunik are the 2 players I'm not too familiar with.
Yeah, Sunik I've not seen too much. I know we've had, the way we've been pronouncing it on stream this season is Capello.
Okay.
And that is just how we're going to go until corrected. But
fair enough.
We've definitely seen this Unity side on stream a couple of times. We've been impressed by them. We've also been a little bit disappointed in them. It's been a very up and down season for the Unity side, as told by their record of 5-2-2. A lot of wins on the board,
Trouble.
but a lot of not wins as well. And here is Trouble, crossbar, double, no. Not going to be found. Surely the finish from Clerks, no, he misses high. But Ox Gaming, they start knocking again. And I've got to say, Sunik, even though we don't necessarily know him very well here on the desk, we're going to know him by the end of the stream, I think. He's playing very well.
Yeah, well, they still got the time. Just under 2 minutes to go. Plenty time for them to find the comeback. But you feel they're going to have to find a little bit of a higher level of control. Shot on a hopeful shot from Stolzy. Great pass. Tubbsy gets on the end of it and sends it wide. But this is much better from Unity. They're pressing hard now. Capello trying to keep the pressure up. Almost succeeds. They've done very well here. What an important touch from Clerks to get themselves out of immediate danger.
And now this ball over to the right-hand side. Tim Tam going to try and take it through. Gets the better of Capello. Gets the better of the second man as well. And Tim Tam goes over the top. Ox Gaming take a fourth after, I mean, it's just continuing to press the ball. It looks very much like ball chasing, but it really isn't. Every challenge is measured by Tim Tam perfectly. And that's going to be 4-1 to the Ox.
Now, Tim Tam, if I'm not mistaken, he was on Monarch last season. He was part of the champion elite team. So on a different roster, but trying to get the brace championship wise. And I'm assuming if he's on the field, I haven't had a look, but I'm assuming that means Popcorn is in chat.
It does. You know what? That's a great shout. It certainly does. Yes, yes, he is.
Fantastic. Well, that's good. Good to see Tim Tam still bringing the support. And as far as this game goes, it looks like Ox, they should have this on lock. I mean, we've seen strange things, but it is rare to drop a 3-goal lead in the final 30 seconds, almost a 4-goal lead there. But they've got all the action, Ox. They're pressing forward. They're having most of the possession. Maybe one here for Unity, but Sunik, easy enough, gets it out. And it looks like Ox cruising through the last 15 seconds to take game one.
Yeah, speaking of cruising, there is a game currently on the B stream which doesn't have anyone in cruise control. They started probably about 5 minutes before us, and the game one is actually going to finish after ours. But there is one more for the road for Unity. They find a second goal right at the death, 1 second remaining. It won't be enough time to get back into this game one, but it's something to move forwards with. But the reason I've said what I've just said is because there is an 11, yes, that's right, 11 game thriller going on over on the B stream right now. Cosmico Luna take down Death Cloud Miasma 7-4 in that game with still 27 seconds left. That is ludicrous.
Wow.
Over on our stream, though, it is Ox Gaming who take down Unity. And I would say for probably 4.5 minutes of the game, it felt relatively convincing.
Yeah, absolutely Ox's game here. And sorry, I'm stuck on the 11 goal thing on the other side. I'm just thinking it's like it sounds like a defensive masterclass going on the B stream.
Yeah, defenses stand up for sure. There might even be one more. In fact, there is going to be. It's a 12-game series. 7-5 on 0 seconds. Luna take it, but lots more
Crazy.
goals over there on the B stream. But better Rocket League played over here. More defensive, more attacking, more intelligent attacking as well, Greybeard, is what we've just been seeing. And I love how Unity started to warm up into it. Ox Gaming really took it to them early on, made their presence known, but Unity definitely didn't go down without a fight. They got back into the game. I'm excited to see how they start game 2 now.
The only thing that worries me is that throughout the course, our Unity had good passages of play, but taken on the whole, it just looked like Ox Gaming were just a couple of yards of pace ahead, and didn't seem overly they just looked like they're in control of things. So Unity have to step up, and they certainly can. But from what I saw in game 1, there's nothing that Unity showed us that should have Ox Gaming concerned in any way. But game 2 is underway, and already better news for Unity because it's been 18 seconds and they've not conceded.
Absolutely huge from the blue side. They do need to make sure that continues though, and maybe they won't here. Tubsy gets up well, makes a save, gets the better of 2. That's a double commit from Ox Gaming. And now there should be a break on Tim Tam being harried in the backlines by Capello. And he's done enough as well. All Stolzy had to do was take aim at the net, and it was gonna find its home. That's exactly what he does. And Unity lead game 2.
You know, sometimes you get such a good camera angle, and Tubbsy got such a great touch to put it over the second man of Ox, and for a long time it was 3 versus 1 as Tubbsy went ahead to go and harass Tim Tam in the net. Lovely, well-constructed play. Unity have a goal, and importantly, it's a lead, but immediately under pressure from Ox.
And this is probably going to be a theme throughout this semi-final, is whenever Unity look like they're moving forwards, whenever they look like they've got good opportunities, Ox Gaming are right there on their tail to try and take it away from them, spark the counter-attack, or take the ball into their half. And there's a pass in field if Capello can find it. It's a little bit too close to Sonic, who will now drive down that right-hand side, but gets immediately demoed by Stolzy, not having any of what he wants to sell. Top left corner, not going to be found, but starting to knock on the door now are Ox Gaming.
Well, Unity will be happy with their lead, but it doesn't look like a certain one for the time being. That might be. Oh, the angle was there. It kisses the crossbar and goes out. Ox Gaming get very lucky. Now they're going to press that luck, take advantage. The Cuxa pinch might turn into a delicious pass. It kind of was. Capello couldn't get on the end of it. But suddenly it seems a far more open game. We're seeing some midfield play, cross-field. It's not bunched up in the middle. Still advantage Unity. Oh, big team bump. That might cause consternation. Capello does very well.
It's a big pinch there from Sonic, sends it back downfield, and it's well won by Tim Tam. Going to try and follow it through. Needed that ball to bounce off the bottom corner, and it didn't, so Unity will be able to clear their line. Sonic puts this ball back high in the sky, wanting a teammate to come through, and Clerks obliges on the right-hand side. Sonic now trying to find the ball into the middle. It's beaten Capello. There's a bump on the goal line. Where's the third man? Tim Tam, stuck in Australia, I guess, as he was trying to get to that ball. And with just over half the game now gone, Ox Gaming don't have a long time to get back into it. They don't need a long time to get back into it. Cernic finishes this lovely pass from Clerks.
And therein lies the problem of a 1-goal lead, right? And they've been ahead for a long time by that single goal, but all evaporates. Both teams on equal footing. They start again. Both of them. Oh, opportunity here. Stolzy, but great, a very quick interception there from Ox.
Yeah, it certainly was. And now Unity are going to try and break here. Of course, the goal conceded doesn't mean they're behind. They are level at the moment. As things stand, we will be going to an overtime, but that is still a long, long time away. And both Ox and Unity do not want to get there, that's for sure. Pass in field. Capello takes it through, has enough boost to catch up to it as well. Well marshaled by Clerks. Stolzy thought he was going to have a solo play, but was immediately denied. And now Clerks looking for the ground pinch. Not going to find that one. A team bump on the back lines gives Perks another opportunity off the crossbar here, and Ox Gaming don't follow through. And I have to say that's my one kind of detraction from the way that Ox Gaming have played so far, and it's going to cost them. At the other end, Tubbsy finds the angle, top right corner. Ox Gaming punished for not chasing down that ball in a more aggressive way.
Yeah, and then letting it get awkward in the corner, and Tubbsy sniping that. Saw the angle, saw the net, hit it to perfection. Unity take their second lead of the game. Sunik making things awkward for his team as he sort of back passes it against his own backboard. So, yeah, as strong as Ox looked in game one, there's absolutely a feeling of fragility about them at the moment.
This is one of those things when you've got a team with kind of aura, right, top of the table, such a good season, you start to think, can we beat them? If you prove to yourself in game 2 of the semi-final that, yes, you can, well, sky's the limit for this Unity team. Clerks takes a pot shot from the right-hand side. No one gets a hand up, and we are back level after some individual brilliance.
You know, on seeing it live, it felt like it should have been saved. But look at that speed, 108 Ks an hour. It was a rocket, and caught Unity a little bit flat on their goal line, and they are punished. We're inside the last 3/4 of a minute, and this game is all leveled up. Unity have led twice. They're in danger here. They do get the clear, a sort of calling all pocket shot to get it cleared, but done well. Here comes Tubbsy. He scored both goals. Oh, looking to set up a pass for the third. Stolzy's going to have a crack, but all he can do is put it softly into the Ox corner.
Yeah, but check out the boost amounts over on Ox Gaming. They are absolutely starved. Highest is 38. Now Tim Tam's been able to get something, but if Unity really try to crank this one, they are likely to get an opportunity. Ball into the middle. Perks gets bumped away. Double commit coming through from Ox. It's not comfortable for the top of the table side, and they might just be accepting of overtime here as Cernik sends that one into the corner. Unity trying to keep it up. They're the ones that are pressuring, but we do go to our first overtime of the entire evening so far.
Well, after the first series on both streams, I was like, okay, we're going to have an early night here. If it keeps going this way. But this overtime worries me a little. Oh, it's going to be a short one. My whole long point is completely mute. Capello is going to find the back of the net. 13 seconds. And man of the match, Tubbsy, he sets up that goal, which Capello finishes on top of Tubbsy's 2 goals.
Well, what do we have here? A story forming throughout the week where one of the top 2 teams doesn't make it to the grand final. Maybe both of the top teams aren't going to get to the grand final, Greybeard. Unity bring this one back. 3-2 victors, even after an incredible solo performance on the other side from Clerks. Look at that scoreline and every single item on that list. But the fact of the matter is, Unity come away with a victory, and now, if it bleeds, we can kill it.
And speaking of killer, look at that demo scoreline. Only 2 demos from Unity, but Sunik 6 on his own. He's a machine, a killing machine. 9 demos, but fat lot of good it did them. Got them 2 goals and a loss in the game. So the physical play is there. Now they just got to find the finishing. And when they were pushed, we didn't see it in game 1. We saw it in game 2. When pushed, they can start to look a little bit fragile. And once they're fragile, they struggle to recompose, reset themselves positioning-wise, to enable themselves to kind of get out of their own half in a coordinated manner. So Unity will have seen that. It's sort of like the cut above the boxer's eye. As you were saying, it's okay, they're bleeding. Just keep going for the cut. And so something for Ox to think about as they come back, look to come back in game 3 on Salty Shores.
Yep, so with that, we have guaranteed a game 5. That will be coming your way as a minimum. Whether we get any more games now is up to the rest of the series. But Tim Tam driving this one forwards for Ox Gaming. And I was going to mention in that little break, I do feel like Ox Gaming might be giving Unity a little bit too much respect in some of these moments. They're not taking those triple commits. They're not pushing everyone forwards. They might be pushed back here. And huge credit goes to Capello for this finish right here. Gets up the first time, then finds a way to get back in the play off the backboard. Prevents the clearance so wonderfully. And that's how Unity go 1-0 up in game 3.
I didn't see all the goals in the earlier series, but that for me, sight unseen, I go, that's surely a contender for goal of the night. Fantastic work from Capello. The presence of mind to recover and get back to the ball, spotting the opportunity there. Now suddenly Unity all over Ox. Ox are keeping it out, but they are up against the ropes, taking chin punch after chin punch.
And Unity just look like a team possessed right now. And there's a fake coming through from Capello. He's feeling himself. He's definitely got the momentum in his back pocket, and he's going to get another chance here. It is going to go quite wayward. But by the same token, this is a Unity that we certainly weren't expecting to see against the quality that this Ox Gaming brings. Capello wants another one. This is saved away, but it is all Unity right now. Mzansi Magic, well, they're bringing the second word, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're doing very well, and the shot count is going to be astronomical, but it does concern me that after that sensational period of pressure, they didn't score. And if they concede here, if they concede on the counter, they're going to feel a little bit aggrieved. But let me not get ahead of myself. Great work from Clerks to keep it over on the Unity half. And now starting to build pressure, finally, out of their own half, off their own goal line, shot on save. But how far? The return shot is wide, and now a little tap off the back, and there it is. And Ox Gaming do on the Unity side what Unity should have done about 30-40 seconds ago after all of their pressure. Ox Gaming build pressure, execute, and get the goal.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It's almost a bit of a shame, really, because of everything that we saw from Unity. You almost thought there was, in their future, a second goal to extend the lead, and it's the point where it's going to look good for them. And there's another opportunity. That man Capello, again, he seems to be the danger man for Unity right now. Tubbsy, incredibly good in games 1 and 2, no doubt, but game 3 belongs to the K-man, or maybe Tubbsy has heard me say that, and he wants another go. Not going to happen. Stolzy goes over the top. What a save from Sonic. Ox Gaming defending with their lives, and they still have their lives right now.
And they're pulling it off. I was talking about their fragility in the last game, that when pressed, they start to look a bit fragile. They have been pressed very hard, but by and large have kept their composure, but eventually it breaks down. Oh my goodness, suddenly I look I look silly. Unity make me look silly. Stolzy gets involved. Unity in front.
And I've got to say, I wanted to do some research just to make sure I wasn't getting anything wrong. And I've checked the rosters on the page, and believe it or not, Unity are actually not playing with their top CMV player right now. Genie was the man to bring them through in the regular season, a lot of those games.
Wow.
Not present in play-ins or playoffs. They go with these 3, and so far it's proving to be the right decision. Ball over to the right-hand side. Capello to Stolzy, who tries to break through. Clerks, it's getting a little bit choppy for us. We do apologize if we don't keep up with the play quite as fluid, maybe effectively, as we should do. Clerks goes over, looking for the reset, sent away. I think that was Tubbsy. There's a demo on the back lines. It's all kicking off. Tubbsy once again out of the corner, looking for a teammate, cleared away by Tim Tam.
And over on the B stream, Cosmico and Deathcloud, who have been fierce rivals all season, their series is locked, similar to this one, at 1-1.
It certainly is, and actually in that game number 3, Miasma have just taken the lead 1-0, so it will be interesting. Oh no!
Oh dear.
Well, that's a misstep from Unity. That's not one you want to see. Stolzy out of the corner, sends it middle. There's a demo, and it all goes a little bit wrong for the
Without that demo, they're probably okay, but man, the last man on his own, he's high up on his backboard, didn't stand a chance. This game is leveled similar to the last. We had a 13-second overtime in game 2. We've still got a minute here, and you feel like there's plenty time for two or 3 goals for one of these 2 teams to take it in regulation.
Yeah, it certainly does feel that way, as Stolzy leaves it. Tubbsy takes a shot. Double commit on the back lines from Ox Gaming, but Capello been so good for Unity so far, but that one is quite the whiff. And now Tim Tam out of the corner. Capello just pops it high. Tim Tam keeps the pressure on. Ball into the middle. Stolzy should be there. Wasn't. And that was very nervy moments. But Unity survive and clear the ball.
Well, I said there's time for 2 or 3 goals. We're now down to 20 seconds. There have been no further goals. Maybe something here. Double commit. It is saved. I don't know if they're going to get punished for the double commit. They're not. But Tim Tam, what an intercept. For the briefest of moments, there's an open net. He goes for it. It's high. No one there for the rebound. We're heading for our 2nd consecutive overtime unless Ox can make something happen right here, right now. They do! Clerks finds it with 2 seconds to go. It's a heartbreaker for Unity.
Never doubt the Ox. They will always find a way. And they do at the last moment. 2 seconds remaining on the clock. As long as this ball hits the ground soon, Clerks is going to ensure that it does. Ox Gaming are able to bring this game around. Remember, once again, it was a game in which Unity led 1-0. And then I also believe they led 2-1. But in the end, Ox Gaming just had too much for them. And off the back of phenomenal performances from both Clerks and Sonic, it's fair to say, they are able to take home a 2-1 lead in the series. And, I mean, Greybeard, this is such an even game right now. Any individual game can go either way.
Well, if we cast our minds back to the series last night, I think it was Cosmic. Was it Cosmic? I think it was Cosmico in Unity. Where it was very similar to this, where they were kind of keep in lockstep with one another. But this game coming up, game 4, is where Cosmico got ahead. And yes, it's a best of 7. It's not the end of the world if Unity lose here, but just given the context of how things are going and the flow of it, this is a really important game for Unity to get themselves together and get themselves back in the series. And I will say this, this is how I think this goes from here. One of 2 ways. If Aurochs take this next game, they will win it 4-1. They will take the series 4-1. If Unity take it, it is going to game 7. And I think Unity might just pip it in game 7. There we go. That's my prognosticating for the day.
Well, you've heard it from the Oracle. Now let's see if it comes true.
Oh,
maybe,
okay.
just maybe, Ox Gaming, like the sound of the first outcome that Greybeard prophesized, they take the 1-0 lead inside 13 seconds of game 4.
Yeah, the wall pinch from Clerks, and he followed it up, and he was laser focused on that ball. And as soon as Tubbsy didn't quite get the touch he wanted, Clerks pounced, gets that opening goal, and it's the first time in 3 games that Unity have not been first on the board. Maybe a second here. Oh my word. Okay, so clearly Clerks went and had either cornflakes or wheat bix during the games, because suddenly he's caught fire.
Or maybe he just drank a can of Slayer Energy and he's been given a new lease of life here in this game number 4. A little bit of a return to what we saw in game number 1. Ox Gaming out the traps very early. Unity not looking like they can deal with the pace put forwards by their adversaries. For the moment, this is still Ox Gaming's turn, and eventually it will come to an end. No, it won't. That's a great challenge by Tim Tam to keep the ball away, and Sonic into the right-hand side will be sent away by Tubbsy, and actually that's the 3rd man. Tim Tam right there had to get touch on the ball and did. Capello trying to beat his man in the corner. Won't be able to do so. Ox Gaming with the ball again.
Here comes Sunic. I don't think he's got control of that. He does. I lied. He gets the flip reset. And it's only Capello on the goal line who gets rid of it. Great bit of control there from Sunic. Unity going through a period of struggling to clear it beyond their halfway line. They're doing all their work up against their goal line. It's saved. How much longer can this go on? They're doing okay for boost. Tubbsy gets it all the way down. Someone needs to finish. Capello takes slow. Oh. It was everything was good about it except those last pixels of placement.
Yeah, so unfortunate. Capello, I've got to credit his movement. He always seems to be in the right place at the right time for Unity. Doing fantastic work. Here he comes again, looking for another goal where he tries to prevent the clearance from coming through from Ox. Isn't able to get it this time. Maybe Ox wise to the tricks of Capello now. A fake coming through from Sonic, now looking to help his team by that pass across. Will be blocked away by Stolzy. Just a quick update from the other game. It's currently Cosmico 2, Death Cloud 1 in that series. And Ox Gaming looking to try and meet the winner of that game in the grand finals. That just has to go down as a miss from Timtown.
Yeah, I'm concerned about the time Unity is spending over in the Ox half. It doesn't seem like a lot. They're there now. They managed to get forward. They do a little bit of back and forth in front of the Ox goal line, and then they seem to be all the way back in defense. A little bit of a scramble here from Ox is going to keep the pressure on for Unity, and Timtam being removed might help, but it is the two-time goal scorer. Clerk's trying to get rid of it, but only gets it as far as the halfway line. Oh no, big miss from Tubbsy.
Real opportunity that goes begging. And now 2 minutes left on the clock, but I do have to say, Greybit, I worry for Ox Gaming in this moment, because all of their play at this moment looks like they're not trying to pass the ball, they're not really trying to clear the ball, they're just trying to find a place in the field where there isn't a Unity player and put the ball in that place. That's all they're doing, and then we'll figure the rest out later. And now later is coming as Unity start to build. Surely Capello has an opportunity. That has got all the pace of a dying snail. There's an opportunity here from Tubbsy. That's going to miss high. And if you don't take your opportunities against first in the table, they will punish you.
Well, we saw that in the last game, didn't we? There were opportunities like Unity pummeling the Ox goal line and not getting through, and then getting countered and conceding. And we're seeing a similar thing here. They have had the best of it for the last minute and a half, and they've not found the net, and they need to find the net twice in the last minute. Otherwise, they are in huge trouble. They're going to have to pull off a best of 5 reverse sweep just to make it to Champions Field.
50 seconds to go. Really need to press the go button now. Not that they haven't been for the last 4 minutes, Unity. But it's not worked out for them.
Nothing wrong with the go button, Rhino. It's the goal button that's stuck.
It's very true. Yeah, the go button's one thing. They've got the pressure, they've got everything moving forwards for them, but they're not able to find the goal just yet. There's another opportunity, saved away by Clerks. He gets in front. Capello gonna try now and be the man to unlock the door that Ox Gaming have got barricaded right now. Tubbsy again, pass middle. But again, Stolzy not going to get there, not going to make connection. And it is too little too late. Ox Gaming will have match point.
Man, oh man, they were not without their chances. At least three very clear chances, Rhino, for them to get one goal, to start their comeback. Not able to put it away. We'll see the shot count in a second. And what's that? Shots, 3, 6, 9 shots for 0 return. That's a little rough.
Yeah, and on the other side, I mean, it's very even, right? It's 8 shots to 9 shots. Both teams had a lot more. Well, certainly Ox Gaming had more of the play than I expected to see from them. I thought it was going to be all in favor of Unity, not to be the case. And Unity bringing out that aggressive play that we saw earlier. You know, 6 demos across all 3 of their players, only 1 on the side of Ox Gaming. But as we've seen tonight, Greybeard, and I know this goes against everything you believe in the Rocket League game, when a team has had more demos, they have lost the game, which is a surprise.
It is a surprise, and I guess it speaks to the tactical nature of demos. It's all very well to get the demos, but you got to be doing them at the right time, and then capitalize on the missing defender or the missing attacking player or whatever it is. But in 2 successive games where Ox have done incredibly well, is they've absorbed long periods of pressure from Unity, and despite a massive shot count, 9 shots from Unity, 7 saves from from Ox. So they were very. I think it was the game 2 that they lost, where they looked fragile on their goal line. Not in game 3 and not in game 4. Oh my goodness gracious! I thought this was a replay of game 1. That goal, it looked so similar to the Clerks goal in the last game. Bang, bang, 4 seconds in, Ox Gaming have a goal through Clerks.
Yeah, and, well, the prophecy may indeed be realized, as it was mentioned that if Ox Gaming were to win that game number 4, it was likely that they would go on and take game 5 as well. It is looking like that way now.
I so badly want Unity to win just at this stage, because it just feels like Unity they live in what seems like an almost constant state of heartbreak. oh no. Tim Tam now gets the second for Ox, and they look to be storming their way into the grand finals.
And I will say, to the casual listener, it's going to sound like we're biased in one way, right, towards Unity. I want to clarify, that is absolutely not the case. We are biased towards good Rocket League, and Unity have shown us throughout this evening such good Rocket League without the rewards for it. And now they are on the precipice of being kicked out of playoffs in what I would say is one of the most heartbreaking ways I've maybe ever seen, because I've never seen a team, certainly in playoffs, in any RSC, whether that be EUNA or SSA, play as well as Unity have, with as much pressure as Unity have, looking like as much the better team as Unity have across the series, and then not get anything for it. And there is Clerks to maybe send a dagger into the hearts of every Unity fan the world over.
Yeah, it's looking rough out there, and I think the consequence might be Voodoo getting quieter in chat and Stones getting louder. I see the Unity spamming the octopus there. We need more of it. We need more of it, Voodoo. They need help. They need huge help. They're in massive trouble here.
They certainly are. If you want to see Unity continue their run, you are going to need to give them every bit of energy that you have, and even that might not be enough. Clerks puts the ball into the middle, sent away by Tubbsy and Stolzy, and that's step 1, is keep the ball out of your net. Step 2 is get the ball in the opposite net. And at the moment, that is not happening for Unity. A goose egg in game 4, and a goose egg with 2 minutes gone so far in game 5, but Tubbsy wants to turn this one around. No. Tim Tam a big clearance, and Capello pushes this one over to the corner.
And again, pressure from Unity. It's now been at least 7 minutes since they last scored a goal. It's looking a little rough for them. Well, more than a little rough. They've got to find 3 goals. They struggled to find 1 in the last game. Oh, if that goes in, Clips gets the hat-trick. Mr. Clerks gets the hat-trick. Set up by Tim Tam. And 4 goals, Rhino. I wonder if we're in the epilogue.
Maybe we are. Maybe we are. We certainly are not over on the B stream. It's worth mentioning Cosmico and Deathbell playing out a 2-2 draw right now. They're now going to play a best of 3, essentially, as they move forwards in their match to decide who gets through to the grand finals. And finally, the dam does break. There is life in Unity. If Ox Gaming can score 4 in 2.5 minutes, well, by goodness, Greybeard, Unity can do it too.
Why not? Why not? Let's go, Unity. Let's see that fight. Let's see you get back into it. And it's occurred to me that we have Clerks, who is last season's prospect champion, and Tim Tam, who is last season's elite champion. So 2 defending champions across 2 different tiers out there. Oh, that was such an important save. And one thing's for certain, Unity cannot concede anymore. They have to have all the goal action from here on out if they are to stay alive in the semi-final.
Yeah, they really do. And Tubbsy going to try and get that underway down the left-hand side. Sonic and Clerks fighting over who wins the ball, and in the end, it's not really either of them. Sonic out of the corner, past middle. Is there an opportunity for Unity to try and get back into it? No. Misses wide. And how many times have we said that tonight about the Unity shooting? It has been left, right, high, can't go low, but at the end of the day, it's not been correct, and they need their radar calibrating within the next minute and a half.
10%, the goals are 10% wider. Unity go to grand finals in a sweep.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not. They got to deal with what's out there, and right now, Ox just look like they're controlling everything about the game. They're unharassed. Unity clearly trying to force the pace, trying to make something happen, and Ox just really letting them dive at the ball, letting them try and force the pace, and they could just keep doing this all day. Well, at least for the last and final minute.
You know, I think that's a really good word to use in this moment for Unity, is forced. That nothing is coming naturally, nothing is coming calm for them. Everything feels like it's being taken with a split decision, that in the moment feeling, rather than, okay, we worked on this, or we know that this is going to work, or there's a set play that we want to use. None of that is coming for them right now. And Ox Gaming have taken advantage of every moment so far. There might be one back for Unity. It's going to have to be a grandstand finish. 30 seconds is enough time, but it's going to require 2 pretty much kickoff goals.
Yeah, well, we need this kickoff is huge. Unity need this kickoff. I don't know if they've worked on kickoff strategies or not. We'll see. Looks like a fairly standard kickoff, and it's gone the way of Ox, and they're just going to hold. Look at this, just keeping it controlled. Although opportunity here. Who's on the end of it? It's Tubbsy. Can he get something in front? He can, but it goes over Capello, and he's got to go all the way back. 15 seconds now. They need to score immediately, and that clear from Clips toward the Unity net might just be enough to see it done and dusted. 8 seconds to go. Capello's going to be dispossessed, and Rhino, Ox will go to the grand final.
It feels very much in the way that we talked about Monarch earlier in the night, in that play-in where they fought valiantly. I tell you something, Unity from Zanzi Magic came here and they fought valiantly. They looked so good in a lot of those games, and on a different day, you just never know which way it drops. But tonight, on this occasion, top of the table will go through into the grand final, and Greybeard, credit to them, because they had to withstand so much pressure over such a long time in that series, and they actually did it, and they kept Unity out pretty well.
And outside of this, and Voodoo will absolutely be disappointed, and all the Unity fans, but a good season for Unity. They've had rough seasons in RSC, but finishing 4th in league, getting to a grand final in Elite, not too bad at all, and that's on top of making top 2 in Rivals. So overall, Unity have got to be feeling pretty good about the season they've had, which is going to do nothing to sweeten the bitterness of defeat now. But I do want to shout them out in the work that they've put in this season. But it is Ox who go to a grand final and await the winner of Deathcloud and Cosmico on the B stream. And the last score we had is that series is locked at 2-all. So that looks like it's going to be a war of attrition over on the B stream.
And I've got to tell you, not only is it 2-2 in the series, it's 2-2 in the game. So those two teams so evenly matched. Whoever it is who goes through from that series are going to be very worthy grand finalists. Not to say that, of course, Ox Gaming aren't either. They absolutely deserve their position. They deserve to be there. Played very well across the series tonight. Especially impressed by their defense, I do have to say that. And I mean, we've already seen, right? There was an 12-goal game at the start of the other semi-final, which means whoever plays them in the grand final is going to have a good defense, because clearly defense sides aren't playing on the B stream right now. And Ox Gaming are going to have the opportunity to stay as top of the table and as the #1 team in Elite. As we watch back through some of these highlights, Greybeard, do you have a moment that you look back to in the series where you thought was the big turning point for Ox Gaming?
It was their defense in game 3 when Unity were pummeling them, and they just had save after save after save, and then countered, got a goal. And for me, that was a turning point, because it was from then on Unity could apply all sorts of pressure and never get through. We saw it in that game 4 where they had 9 shots and could not score a goal. So that for me was the big turner. And again, for the second night in a row, my play of the night is on the losing team. That goal from Capello on Salty Shores was just fabulous, and it's unfortunate that he can't celebrate that as a winner.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, some people will kind of play down that goal and kind of say, oh, all he did was block it. No. You got to watch that play all the way through. It's genuinely very, very intelligent play from Capello. Does a great job of making sure that ball finds its way into the Unity net. As imagine that these highlights are going to start to wind down soon, because
will they? Will they? There were a lot of goals scored.
There it is. There we go. Of course, so many highlights for Elite. Of course, there are, Greybeard. And Ox Gaming are going to be going through to that grand final. I have just seen over on my opposite screen that it is Cosmico who are now on match point. They take a 3-2 lead in the series, looking to knock out Death Cloud Miasma second in the league. Going to be a very interesting game. Do you have a favorite right now in that game? Obviously, Cosmico 3-2 up, but just on the measure of the season.
You know what? I'm a huge fan of Death Cloud, just because I'm a fan of Space Crisp and the fact that he's kind of stuck with us for some years. He's been building this little empire of his, and it's great to see him sort of finding success and growing and get big. So I love what they do from that perspective, but I just get a feeling it's Cosmico's season, and so from that side, I'd love to see them do really well. I mean, they have the potential here of going to their 3rd consecutive grand final, which is insane, and they could do it again tomorrow night in Masters. So I'm a little bit torn in terms of a personal favorite.
Yeah, and I think I do agree with you. I think both teams have merit. I think both teams have had an incredible season, but who will get to that grand final? Who will give me the ability to talk about them tomorrow night on the stream in Master? That's going to be the question we are going to go over now to take a look at the remainder of the Cosmico versus Death Cloud game over on the B stream. I hope it goes very well. We're just about to join them in game 6, and then we will be back right here for the grand final in a moment. See you soon.
Under his nose.
Yeah, and here it is. Will Cosmico be able to make it through to that final to meet Ox after, wow, a 4-1, very dominant. I was really rooting for Unity in that one, and seeing how they played previously, it's quite a surprise that it ends 4-1 there, but I guess that speaks volumes to how Ox are playing at the moment. So either of these teams that are going to make it through can have a tough final, but I mean, how much tougher of a final can it be than this semi-final so far? As both teams a bit even for now. No early goal going in this opening minute. Or is there? This is still in front of the net. Flazinho, an absolutely massive save, keeping his team in it in the early stages of this game 6.
Well, there you got it. Jalen taking it up through down to the middle. And this is match point now for this team. They're looking to end it, but Krish looking to bump it as Flazinho following through quickly. Passes off to Jalen, who gets the touch, gets demoed in the process.
Oh, wow.
But OC gets the goal in game number 6. They've got the 1. They need to hold on to the 1. They need to buy themselves 5 more minutes. They want to take it through to Champions Field.
And Jalen again leading the line forward, and a familiar finish from Flosi. It seems like those two are holding it down on attack, and they're doing a great job. As it was a bit of a loose one, but no one from Miasma quite pushing up that high. It's getting in each other's way a bit here, as this might be an instant reply, and it actually is. So much like how this series has gone so far. Just goes one way then the next, and another goal has gone in. That lead very short-lived on the side of Miasma.
Well, a lead is a lead until it's not a lead, and that there is all the wisdom I'm going to dispense to you right now, because there is nothing to be said. There is nothing to split these two teams apart as Flosi launches a bomber down the middle. Ryan Senpai plays against the backboard. Flosi taking the shot in, and there you go. Jalen picks one back up in no time at all, and just like that, it seems that we cannot even get a coherent storyline together because they are just swinging.
Yeah, it is just shot after shot after shot. 2-1 now in 2 minutes off the clock. Miasma, it has been Jalen and Flozinho taking it forward every chance they get. And here they go again. Jalen to start it off. Flozinho to follow up. Does he get the double tap? Actually gets the touch. Not quite on target. Chris tries to follow up, but it is going to be a moment of calm. You know, is it calm before the storm? As Luna looking to instantly respond yet again. That's a bump, but Jalen already fast up to that. Beats out Flyway, but Hilux back in time to make that crucial touch.
Well, Ford Hilux now trying to pick up the corner. Didn't have any boost to work with, but I fly away now. Can he take it into the dribble? They want to end it. They want to put the pin in this conversation. The longer this goes, the more Death Cloud looks to be assertive on this. They want the game number 7. They don't want to go home now. They want to go all the way as Krish plays the pass in. I fly away, getting the touch now. Ryan Senpai, triple commit there. They are looking a little bit staggered on defense as Krish plays the pass down. They've had time to reset though as Jalen goes all the way back, all the way home to start this attack once more. Krish with the pass through. Forward Hilux with the meet.
Yeah, good pressure coming out there, but no goal quite yet as we stay at 2-1 just for a moment. As 2 minutes left of this crucial Game 6. Miasma, they are in the lead, so it is looking good. They just need to hold it. But it has been so hard for either team to hold any kind of lead in this series. Just speaking testament to how even it has been. But now we see Luna surging down the pitch. Ryan Senpai, lovely aerial, and trying to attempt the bump, but it doesn't matter because his teammate's up with him. And we are all even, Steven. A familiar thing to see in this series so far. And another familiar thing is no boost on either of those attackers.
Oh man, 2 goals apiece, less than 2 minutes left on the clock. And we are so close to seeing a Game 7. I believe we can see it. Death Cloud need to believe it because Forward Hilux, he is looking absolutely unstoppable now. Putting the pass through, trying to go for the bump. Very aggressive with his touches. I fly away. Off the ceiling now, it's a little bit awkward. They cannot let this devolve into loose ball play. That's where teams like this Death Cloud outfit thrive. It's going to hit the back of the shot comes in. It is wide. Flosi misses. And that could have been pivotal as Forward Hilux takes the possession into the final minute.
This has been such a high-level display from both teams, but that was the most This Is Rocket League moment of the series so far. As neither team really getting a proper hold on this. Ball still there for Miasma, but they're not going to get the goal. Ford actually putting it on target. Flosi, no boost, going to have to make the save, and just about does. Ball still there. It's going off the back wall. Ryan Senpai fast to it, but not quite getting to it. Ford's going to meet it. 30 seconds on the clock. Are we going to get an elusive overtime, or surely someone ends it here? 20 seconds.
An elusive overtime, a deserved overtime. This has been a clash of titans right now. Shot coming in. Forward Hilux has the opportunity to end it in regulation time. End the series down in regulation time as Forward Hilux doesn't get the touch. Flosi taking it straight down the middle. They'll want to pad it to the floor. It is overtime in game number 6. It is overtime on Neo Tokyo, and Ryan Senpai with possession pads it off to Flosi, who's there back. Doesn't have any boost, but gets the flick high. Can they get the shot through Forward Hilux? Not much boost to work with, but gets it in here. It's looking a little dangerous. It's a double commit, but good clearance there from Flosi, who's going to take it. He's going to go for the bounce, but I fly away. Great read, but doesn't get the touch. Ryan Senpai, though, looking so damn dangerous. 30 seconds down right now into this overtime, and it could go anywhere right now. Forward Hilux with the fake, but I'd fly away, not being able to capitalize.
Yeah, and 40 seconds into this overtime, and there's been close call after close call for both teams, but both teams still alive in this game 6. This could be the finisher, but Miasma looking to drive up the field. Flosie's been exceptional in this game, but actually been a bit balled by... Oh, no, that wasn't Flosie, that was Jalen. Okay, Flosie actually on the ball now, gets dunked out. We're seeing the pure aggression coming up from Luna, especially that guy, Ford Hilux. It's been a bit of a different game for him in this one, opting more for the save route of getting his top of the leaderboard score instead of just scoring a buttload of goals. But it is going to be his team maybe looking to him to get that crucial one in this overtime as Jalen getting the demo forward, cutting it early to make sure that that doesn't result in a shot. And a bit of awkward play. Neither team wanting to make that mistake that's going to result in this game potentially being over or sending us to 7.
Oh, here we go, Jalen with the shot, but fed there through by Flacinho. He's going to try and get a touch in here. Now we're almost approaching 2 minutes of overtime, and pressure is mounting. Forward Hilux, no boost, but tries to get this one out. Jalen heading to the skies, got 2 waiting in defense. I fly away with the meat. Very good patience on defense, and clear coming in here. Flosi tries to end it. Forward Hilux with the touch, and last goal wins here right now is Forward Hilux there in defense. Can't get that one in. Flosi with the fake. Jalen with the fake. Passes here. Gets touched up against the backboard. He's going to take another shot through in here. Flosi trying to get this one in. Puts it across the net, but nobody is there to save it and clear it.
Romeo, even my hands are sweating right now, and all they're doing is rubbing against each other. I don't know how these players are surviving. I don't know how the controllers aren't completely drenched in the sweat as these teams, you can see a bit of the nerves coming out in this overtime as it gets longer and longer, almost 3 minutes. Sending 2 players is going to happen plenty of times, I'm sure, as you just need to be sure that that ball's staying out of your net. But here's a great chance from Jalen, trying to pop it down, but is just about kept away. Flazinho coming a bit late on that shot. But the demo is going to keep the attack going for Miasma. Nice infield. Jalen just getting it a bit wide. They had a chance for the shot, but they're still pushing and pushing incredibly hard. This could be the moment. And yet another save coming up, Romeo.
Well, Ryan Senpai getting the pass across here now, gets the touch, but Krish solid on defense as we're approaching 3rd minute of overtime. Fires the shot in. I fly away. Getting the touch wide though, Jalen. Getting past in, but Forward Hilux with a monumental boom. Jalen gets demoed. It's 2v3, but they cannot end it here. Flacinho gets the touch. Now, can he get another one through? We want to see this go to game 7. Could this be an own goal off the crossbar? This is so damn close. So if you're a believer in game number 7's, vote DCE right now. Spam it in chat. You want to see it go wild as Forward Hilux wanting to end it. You got to feel if it goes all the way, it's going to favor the blue side as Flosi. And can he get the shot? No, he can't. 4 minutes of overtime, but not done yet.
Not done yet. Almost another full game. We're practically going into our game 7 right now of this overtime. Is another sort of, I don't know if it was triple or double, but so many commits, just making sure this ball stays away from their net. Ryan just opting to hit that out. Neither team really getting a hold of it, just trying to play it safe, but who's going to take that risk? It's Ford leading his team forward, gets the bump, but no one willing to risk it just then, but then both at the same time deciding that was the moment, leaving Ford against Jalen. This is a crucial moment. Lots of mechs coming out.
Gets the touch, gets the shot. Wow. Krish takes the winner, takes them all away. Death Cloud win game number 6, and we're going to Champions Field.
And almost doing it all himself, but getting the final touchdown to Krish and Miasma. How is your heart rate after that one? Pretty much experiencing a full game 7 of overtime. And there's still one more game to be played, Bromeo.
Well, we're hearing it right now that Cosmico are electing to take a timeout right here, right now.
Forgot
And
they had
that-
those, if I'm honest.
Oh man, you got to think of it. How tight was this? Let's have a quick look
Wow.
at the scores here. Flosi picking up the MVP in that game, number 6 in Neo Tokyo. It was a team hat trick for my Asthma. 2 goals on the side of Luna for I Fly Aware and Ryan Senpai. 6 saves for Horde Hilux. He
Wow.
is doing Herculean work, but ultimately it is my Asthma taking Luna through to game number 7. We saw on the other stream it ended 4-1. It was a
Ooh,
very
boring.
dominant performance, but you feel whoever takes this one through here now is in for the thick of it, because they are having to fight so damn hard against such good competition, Mac.
Oh yeah, this game 7 is going to be so interesting to see, to have your season, to have this series, to have all of it go down to 5 minutes of, well, we could have another overtime, but 5 minutes of Rocket League about to dictate where you place this season. All of these players, they've had a chance now, the controllers, the keyboards, everything's been de-sweated, and I hope they're ready for this game 7, because Bromeo, I still have no clue who's going to win this one out.
Man, and I'd love to hear your thoughts from a chat, and I know that RSC, SSA, you're watching us as well, so the mainstream is climbing in on this Game 7 action. So if you
It's a great
believe
time.
that Cosmico can take it, hit a 1 in the chat. If you believe that Deathcloud can take it, hit a 2 in the chat, because in this game number 7, we're approaching the end of the timeout. The timer has started. We are counting down the clock, and at this very second, we're about to kick off again. So, Mac, it is so close, and like you said, we called a miasma earlier to take this one through purely from channel point purposes. But are we going to go again for the Disney route? Ford Hilux repatriating himself to take Cosmico through to the finals, or are we going to see Deathcloud taking it all the way to the end? It is now on Champions Field. It is the field that everyone knows. It's for very good reason, because right now it is match point for both of these teams. These next 5 minutes are pivotal. It is do or die. This is semi-final Rocket League, and only one team can secure their way into the final. So, Mac, are you still going to hold by this DCE vote?
I think I am. I'm liking what I'm seeing from them. The games have been so close that even the games they lost, I still thought they played incredibly well. I think it was 16 shots between Flosi and Jaylene in that last one, and
wow,
I mean they're just shooting every chance they get, and if they continue that in this game, they are going to be smooth sailing. But it has been nothing but smooth sailing so far. Let's see in this game 7, the do or die moment, as you mentioned, and it's starting off with a do for Ford Hilux. Didn't have a goal in that last game, but he's starting early in this one.
What a do indeed. Ford Hilux getting it past 2 blue defenders there. Cosmico off the bat striking a signal of intent and picking up the opening goal. They want to end it. They don't want to suffer through this anymore. This Cosmico team is done with Deathcloud fightbacks. And Flosi, saying nothing of it, gets the equalizer in just as fast.
I'm at a loss for words of just how this series keeps surprising me. It feels like we're finally going to get a moment of calm, finally get a moment for someone to hold a lead, and then it's going to be Flosi saying, okay, I'm going to need you to sit back, relax, and enjoy this bang down the pitch.
Grish. Now taking the ball through to the middle. Forward Hilux with the read, though. All 3 back. There's a double commit in defense, though, as Senpai
Nice try.
trying to get the shot in. Flosi now putting the ball high. Forward Hilux gets the shot in. Jalen saves it away. Flosi electing to stay back. He's the only one on defense with any boost whatsoever, and good composure as he's going to put this one up against the backboard. Forward Hilux disabled for a couple, but speaking of disabled, Flosi demos, I fly away, demos, Flosi and some aggression from both sides as an attempted musty by Jalen. Not effective, but Krish gets the touch, gets the fall down, but nobody there to take the shot. Now Ryan Senpai, can he get the shot in? Yes, he can. And Ryan Senpai sends Cosmico up by 1.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. Where was that third man? There was Flozinho going back for boost, but not actually grabbing it there. A sign of these Game 7 nerves, as I can only imagine what's going through these players' heads. So many thoughts so quickly, as there are only 3 minutes 30 on the clock, and it is a familiar lead coming out from Luna. I'm sure they want to build on it. They're not letting up the gas right now. You see Flyware pumping it out of the corner. A bit awkward, but Ryan can't get a shot away. Flozinho trying to take it away and get his team back on the board. Jalen and Flozinho have been those guys. They can't quite get it there. It's up to Krish. And a bit wide, but a great opportunity.
Well, speaking of opportunity, Forward Hilux missing one there as Ryan Senpai plays it high. Doesn't have any boost to capitalize though. Forced into the corner though, Krish now takes the 50. I fly away. Preemptively striking that to the corner, picking up possession in the process. Red in the middle now, and it's turned into a battle of the midfield. As at any point you feel any of these teams can score. Flosi playing the pass in, Red by Forward Hilux is coming straight down the middle though. Gets demoed on the back. It is 2v3. It is 1v3 right now as Forward Hilux gets the double demo. We're approaching the halfway point. There was only 1 goal separating. Jalen taking the shot, trying to pick up the equalizer. But how close is this? Ryan Senpai dispossessed, hands it off to Krish, but he himself in return dispossessed, and this tussle is turning into sheer unfathomable pressure as I fly away, plays over the one defender, and just like that it turns.
Miasma, they're weathering the storm right now. They're doing so well to not have conceded more. There's so many shots, particularly from Forward Hilux coming out, but just the 1 goal separating them still. Still the great opportunity for Miasma. They just need to get a hold of this ball right now as it's just flinging over and over again at their net. They can't seem to escape, and they can't seem to find boosts. This is going to be scary. Forward actually double committing with a teammate, but no shot as a follow-up. Flyway going to play it off the sidewall, trying to get a joint mid. Actually manages to, but Flozinho meets that one. They are surviving by the skin of their teeth, but that is all they need in these final moments. But they need to try and...
Oh no! Oh no! No, 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 no! I fly away, getting the goal there, but it is Flozinho getting the redirect into the back of his own net, and that is sheer pain. Pain for Deathcloud, pain for Flosi, as it looks like Cosmico have established themselves in a commanding position to take a 2-goal lead, and now grips this game number 7 by the scruff of its neck. There goes the mentals, there goes the kitchen sink. I fly away, picking up the 3-goal lead.
We're getting to hear the chants of the Cosmico fans all around the place, and it is looking like a good time to be them, because wow, just in the blink of an eye, this game has just fallen away from Miasma. We saw that moment with Flozinho of just missing the boost in the corner, crediting it to those nerves, and it is unfortunately looking like the nerves have quite got to him. An unfortunate own goal, another goal to follow up, and just like that, a minute left. It's not impossible, but this game is looking like it's getting away from Miasma.
Forged in the fires of the Crucible of Champions Field, it is now Cosmico.
Oh!
Free in this final minute, and they are looking to end it right here. Flosi trying to get the touchdown, and Krish into the corner now. It is still possible to fight back. We have seen more with less as Flosi plays it back in. They've now reduced the deficit by 2. We still believe, because Deathcloud still believes there is yet time.
Redemption shot coming out from Flozinho there, but is it too little too late? So much time wasted off the clock trying to get just that second goal. Still 2 more goals in only 30 seconds of gameplay that they need to find, but that's a nice demo. Krish leading the line. Jalen gonna take his time, but Forward Hilux meets it, gets it past Flozinho. This is gonna be very awkward. As 20 seconds left, it's looking like this lead is just gonna be in to get them over the line. Cosmico, they are gonna be so happy with this.
Oh man, and oh, off the crossbar, they're not getting the touch. Krish now 10 seconds on the clock. You feel like time is up. They get the demo. I fly away with the definitive clear, and right here on Champions Field in game number 7 of this elite semi-final. You feel like this final was played right here one series earlier, and wow. GG. So it is Cosmico Luna who take their way into the grand final to meet Ox, to meet the Aurochs there on the final battlefield of this grand finals today. And Mac, what a game we have been treated to. This has been
Oh my
absolutely incredible.
Talk about a slugfest. Every moment fought so hard for by every player on that pitch. I don't think anyone can be upset with their performance. Sure, there's going to be disappointment on the side of Miasma, but what a series those teams just gave us, Bromir. That was incredible. I was so caught up in with it. I didn't even bother to do my math. There's too many goals. It was absolutely ridiculous. Both teams just, like we wanted from the very start, a game 7, and for both teams to leave it out on that pitch, and that they did.
Well, we've got a very happy Cosmico AGM sitting in between us. So instead of getting an interview in, we might as well just ask the guy who's running the stream. How do you feel?
Bromio, my head is pounding. That was probably the best series of Rocket League I've ever watched in my life. Someone said it in chat that this is like RLCS level cinema and gameplay.
Incredible.
Man, I'm speechless. I'm just happy. I'm proud of my boys. They must go and have a fun final. But sure, Death Cloud, you guys gave me something in my brain that I need to go to the hospital for. So that's it from me.
Well, we can hop on it, but we know that the mainstream has been waiting long enough to sort out this final. So we're going to wrap it up here and call it right there. But there is still one final game remaining, and that is the final. That is the last of Elite. It is going to be Cosmico Luna versus Aurochs there on the final on the mainstream. So folks, thank you for joining us here.
Well, they've done it again, folks. Cosmico into their 3rd grand final of the week, and it may not even be the last tomorrow coming up as we get there. But of course, what a series. Incredibly well played by Death Cloud Miasma, who really put in the work to try and get themselves over the line. Unfortunately, wasn't to be this time. And Cosmico Luna will be the team to take on the mighty Aurochs. We can take a look at the updated bracket, and there you go. I feel like it's a little bit rude to put red X's in front of these team names because they have worked so hard. But at the same time, they are out, and the game is the game, I guess. So we started the night with the play-ins, Cosmico beating Monarch and WRG losing to Unity. Then our 2 semi-finals on the A stream, it was Ox Gaming taking down Unity in a 4-1 game. Meanwhile, it took all 7 Champions Field required in semi-final 2, but Cosmico Luna do enough to take out Death Cloud Miasma to leave us with this grand final. And we knew one of the teams was going to get there. Cosmico seems to be able to do it all the time, but Ox Gaming representing themselves very well today. And of course, we can bring in our grand finalist casters, 2 men who know a lot about grand finals. Certainly, they've already been on a couple this week. They've got a couple more to do starting tonight as Pegasus and Borky welcome back for the Elite Grand Final. Borky, going to come to you first. You had the semi-finals off. You were allowed to watch from the wings. What did you think?
Oh, man, I don't even know where to start. Over on the B stream, a game 7, they had like an almost 5-minute overtime, and one of those Death Cloud and Cosmico both fighting tooth and nail to make sure they got that spot in the finals. But it is Cosmico again, their 3rd consecutive final this week. That's ridiculous from any kind of standpoint. So I mean, that's the purple team to watch out for. But Ox, they made some pretty quick work of Unity, especially in that final game. And I mean, we can clearly see who got the better of the divorce there. Sorry, Voodoo.
Wow. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Yeah, I mean, Pegasus, I'm gonna come to you as well. Both of these teams now go into the grand final. It's not a grand final we're looking at and going, there's a very, very clear favorite. We're not seeing a team that has absolutely steamrolled the bracket tonight or even steamrolled the league this season. The highest number of wins this season was actually by a team that are not in the grand final, right? Death Cloud Miasma, 7 wins, the highest in the league. Next up is Ox on 6. So we'll see exactly what that means for them, but that lends itself to a very interesting, very competitive grand final.
Certainly, and whenever you do see Cosmico make it this far into a competition, you know that they've got that force to bring. First in franchise standings, it's 3 grand finals in a row. That's an absolutely ridiculous record, but of course you can never doubt your first seed. Ox Gaming earned their way into this spot with that win versus Unity. Did it slightly more decisive than the side of Cosmico, but I don't think there's too much to call in that regard. And both teams that play very highly offensive as well. So despite me sitting here and not particularly knowing who's going to take it at the very end, one thing's for sure, this should be an exciting matchup to round off tonight's stream.
It certainly should. 2 teams going into this grand final with only 1 win separating them in the regular season. It's the grand final we were hoping to see, and it is coming at you live. RSC SSA Season 4 Elite will be decided right now. Ox Gaming Orox versus Cosmico Luna. Get loud in chat. Enjoy the game, gents.
Oh, and thank you, Ryan.
Overrated? Borky, is the first seed overrated? First seed has won every single time so far this season. It was Cosmico, of course, in that first opening in Prospect. Rival was the same, with Cosmico returning to that spot as that third place team. They get to do it again here. You can say in that sense, it is somewhat cursed against them, but at least they feature once more.
Taking the words straight out of my mouth here. I mean, it's the #1 seed, the #1 offense in all of Elite, coming against the #1 franchise. Currently 1-1 in finals, but is Lunar going to be able to put them up into their second grand final win? We'll just have to find out. This one's going to be super close. I know chat's already erupting. Both sides are being rooted for here. And all we have to do is just wait until the players get those engines warmed up and hop onto the pitch.
Packaged and sealed, and you can see the boxes being spammed in the chat as well. I better see a counter chant for the side of Cosmico. I know that they've got their fly slogan that we saw plenty of times during that quarterfinals together, Borky. This is 2, I would say, fan favorite organizations, which only helps to set up what will be a perfect grand final for the playoff of the season so far, especially with how those semi-finals went.
Yeah, and I mean, Hecky's been saying it all night. He's been in chat. Can't box the Ox. He's even got the spam. You can see it coming in now. So both of these teams are heavily backed. Their supporters are out in full force to make sure that everyone knows. And why wouldn't they be? Because this entire Elite playoff has been so cinematic, and it's not going to change at all, as now we approach game #1. #1 seed versus Cosmico. The run from the play-ins. Who's going to come out on top?
Neo Tokyo has been the minimum spot in these grand finals. SSA looking as close as ever at the very top of every single one of these RSC tiers. Can one of these teams do it in quicker fashion? Or are we in for another long night? They've both had their experiences already in this semi-final. Also had a sweeping result for Cosmico in those quarters. We know that both of these teams can be dominant, but most importantly, they can stretch out a game where both teams are struggling to find a step. 40 seconds in, no early goals scored, just transitions from midfield to third. It's going to take that extra bit of oomph for one team to break through.
Just going to be a little bit more of figuring out what makes this other team tick. We could see Ox bringing out that favorable double commit there. That it looks practiced, the amount of times that they do it, and it seems like it's calculated at times. But I'm going to be curious if Cosmico will be able to recognize that and be able to punish, because when they do go for those double commits, as we saw the one earlier, net was wide open. If that 50 doesn't go in your way, I know you could say 2 cars the better, but you never know. And when Eclipse is hitting angles like this from the corner, Cosmico never knows what to expect either.
Both teams are punishable. They play very high, very aggressive, and those rushes come quick. If you're able to beat a player to the ball, chances are you've beaten that sole defender. The boost counts as well. Going to be such a huge factor in this game, maintaining your economy. We were speaking a bit in the green room about Ox Gaming. 3 players all seem like they've always got 200 boost in the tank, and that's going to play in their favor against Cosmico, another side that loves to burn down their counts quickly. So eyes on the economy, the size of your screens off our wonderful overlay we've got here in SSA. But the main scoreline that matters is, of course, that 1-0 lead to Ox Gaming. Maybe extended to 2. It's beaten. Eclipse.
And that's such a great catch here from Eclipse. Pops it over 1, and then it's just sailing all the way home. Fort Hilux doesn't get the touch he might have been hoping for. Instead, accelerates that ball into his net and accelerates Ox into pole position here to take game number 1. We'll see Eclipse already off the kickoff here, following this one up for Hilux, intercepting Tim Tail. What does he have in store here? Not a lot of boost, though. You talk about that boost battle. We can see it coming out in full-fledged. Both of these teams really just trying to starve out that midfield. But look at Fort Hilux trying to hit this angle. Follow-up. Ryan Senpai off the 1 post. And iFlyAware can't finish the job. It allows Sonic here right into the question.
One to watch. Of course, going to be Fort Hilux on the side of Cosmico. There have been games where he's single-handedly dragged this team to a game victory. And with a game 7 in the semi-finals, that shows that his impact has been decisive for them. Although those double commits are certainly going to slow down any progress. That was a nice seal of a ball there, though, from FlyAware, noticing that his teammate is low on boost, but 1 beat there from Nick will give them another open net. It's 3 goals for Ox Gaming, and Cosmico need to find a passage of recovery.
Definitely not the start here that Cosmico might have been hoping for. I'm sure the fans and their teammates in chat, I mean, we could see the prospect winners from Cosmico showing out to support their team, hoping that they could give them some of that momentum. And Ryan Senpai, he might be taking that with them as he gets this one straight off the kickoff. Ox's normal kickoff strat didn't seem to pan out in their favor, and it's Ryan Senpai there on the cheat that gets them right back into contention.
And they'll now be looking towards those cosmic beings above to pull off this comeback in the first game. Of course, this is a best of 7, but getting yourself off to that good start and good stride momentum as well for what is going to be likely a long road ahead. It's going to be a paramount advantage. Tim Tam 50-50s this ball across. Hilux was available inside, but once more, it's a high-pressing third man of Cosmico, which is going to lead to an easy net for Ox Gaming once more. You thought progress was being made, but a few Unreal units sent that into shatters.
And that's just the Ox difference right here in game 1. It's that positioning. Cosmico, they're playing down. It looks like they're trying to be a little bit more aggressive here in developing their offense. And that's the second time that an opening has been created. And with how Ox is positioned across the field, you just pass it up to one of your teammates and they'll finish off the job for you. Fort Hilux here, up to the backboard, leaves it here for iFlyAware, can't connect there. Ryan Senpai is forced to go here. Cosmico need to get something soon if they have hopes of game 1. That touch there not connecting isn't going to help them out as Eclipse just keeps them cornered in their own half. iFlyAware here now. Sonic, big booming clear there. Tim Tam's already up reading that. No, don't do it, Sonic. Coming across the backboard, trying to dunk that one down, but I mean, Cosmico, you got to step up because Ox is trying to freestyle on you now.
Cosmico continue to play on borrowed time, looking to strike back with a goal or two. Of course, they need 3, but that's feeling unlikely with the lockdown nature of Ox Gaming. It's been all eyes on that Birdman positioning, the risks that Cosmico send forward, and the more reserved nature we see from Ox. And whilst double commits have been characteristic of their opponents, that bug seemingly spreading in that one defense, though shouldn't make a difference to our series scoreline afterwards. But if that continues to bleed into the remaining series moving forward, that's when you start to get those alarm bells ringing.
With this countdown here and the differential in the score, it looks like Ox are just going to let this clock tick down. They will take game number 1 in a pretty convincing fashion, showing why they are that number 1 seed and number 1 offense. And their play style just feels absolutely unpredictable at times.
Absolutely, but we've seen Cosmico play not the best in the opener to a series and the quarterfinals that we were able to cover on the mainstream earlier today. And while we know how that story ended, Cosmico were able to improve game by game. Ford Hilux started to get those hands heated up, and all of a sudden it was nights for their opponents. Ox Gaming have to make sure that they do not give Cosmico the opportunity to budge, keep them penned out in their defense, play for those counters as well, which is such a weak point for this purple roster. We might see ourselves watching the quickest grand finals of the season. The first seed vote strikes again, and Ox Gaming have very much shown their opponents the horns.
You said it best yourself. The furthest, or the shortest destination, I guess, has been Neo Tokyo. Ox, they're looking to kill that trend completely and continue what they're doing, but Cosmico can never write them out. You can credit the players and the coaching, but they always just have a little bit more composure, it seems. That game doesn't matter. They're always able to brush it aside and get right back into the driver's seat. And we'll see here as they take possession off a kickoff. Ryan Senpai trying to get us towards the backboard, but Tim Tam just instantly shuts that down.
Flyaway doesn't get that touch on the back wall, though Eclipse unable to take it forward either. Hilux takes out 100 boosts, already had 90 in the tank, just wanted to make sure that the opponents were starved. And I spoke about how important of a factor that's going to be with two teams that play as aggressive as both of them do. Senpai looking for that 50-50 against Tim Tam, and again Cosmico, too high place there from Ford Hilux in third. It's one of those positions where if you're actually deeper, you're more of an offensive threat.
Oh, and two players there from Cosmico trying to thread the needle. Eclipse, last man there. Somehow the ball is served up to him, and this one's just going to sink all the way home. We can see Sonic racing out. I fly aware, but he does come out on top there. Eclipse keeps us in, trying to flick this one up towards the backboard. Ford Hilux will defend that well. Big demo coming out as well, and that's something we didn't see too much of in that first game. But if the physicality starts to unleash, and with two very aggressive and offensive-centric teams, it could be a recipe to disaster if one of those land properly. A runaway there from iFlyAware. We'll see a goal line stand.
Ford Hilux picks their pockets on their goal line. The demo as well was part of the action, that disruption, slowing down the defense, putting them in extremely awkward positions. And like I mentioned before, boost counts over time getting lower and lower and lower. Cosmico picked their spot and they found it. And this is what I was talking about at the conclusion of game one. Cosmico can step up at any time.
Oh, and look at this here from iFlyAware. Instantly off the kickoff, 2 goals in rapid succession. Just absolutely beams that on target. And that goes straight in. Ox, now they're the ones that have to play from this down position. But wait, this is their famous kickoff. They've been doing this all season, all night. And in the grand finals, they pull it out. It's Sonic. Well, he says we can get one back as quick as you did.
It's a good ace to have in your sleeve, those kickoff plays. And so quickly bring these games to tighter affairs. A 2-goal difference against Cosmico. Feels like quite the mountain. 1 goal Just a house of cards ready to fall. Hilux though coming down off the ceiling. Senpai will look to chase this ball first, but it's a very heavy ball. That will drop down harshly off the ceiling. Flyaway's going to be the player to recover. Might just go with a wave. That's a solid 50-50, but Hilux can't find the back of the net, so he's tipped out to the corner once more. Rox Gaming have spent a majority of this game in their own third, and Cosmico do not want to let that change anytime soon. It's a big ball forward, but still no real possession for Rox Gaming. This ball has to find a teammate instead. It's that man in purple forward, Hilux, followed there by Senpai, making a little bit of a hash of the ball here in the front post, but still getting away with murder once more.
You have to wonder how many times they can continue to get away with that, but look at this here. Ryan Senpai comes up high, slams this one down hard, and he's just waiting for an opportunity to get himself activated in this series, and now his name is felt.
Cosmico, I'm pretty sure they've got some kind of plot armor. Just when you think that they're getting down and beaten, they still find a way to sneak their way through. And Hilux and Senpai have been those main two offensive threats on the roster. Catched him outside the 6-yard box, given that slight bit of space. And they'll take it an absolute mile. Senpai once more doesn't get this off the backboard. It's knocked right back forward, but still not able to maintain possession and sweep their way out of defense. They're playing for a mistake from Cosmico, which at this time just will not come.
It's very rare that a mistake will ever come here from Cosmico. They are just working so cohesively, and a little bit of a redirect attempt there from iFlyaware doesn't connect, but the bumps and the demos that I was talking about, they're coming out here in full force for Cosmico. It's disrupting this Ox Gaming line. We've mentioned boost is going to be a big factor here, and for a team of Ox that normally feels like they have 200, right now it feels like Cosmico has the full boost supply.
Senpai has two of those white cars around him. It's going to be tough to break his way through. It's reset back to Hilux instead off that back ball. Keeps that ball central, and he lost 50s. Could have been game over, but he has that confidence in himself. Senpai prevents that ball from finding the roof of the net. Tim Tam comes up again. That's a miss from an Ox Gaming player. Beautiful control, though, on the follow-up by Nick. And it felt like that Ox Gaming attack should have felt a lot more impactful than it ended up being. Cosmico did so well to neutralize all that space, but it feels like once they're in offense, it's game over.
And we really just kind of see these Ox attacks fizzle out. They get the ball across that center line, but it's somebody from Cosmico that just instantly ping-pongs it back and forth. And when they do get that little extra bit of possession, they know how to turn an inch into a mile. Now up 3 here. The script is completely reversed and flipped from that first game. And it's looking like Cosmico have perfectly rebounded, and they're going to tie this series up.
Flyware's 50 once more. Drops high down the center. Tim Tam, lack of connection. Plays in his favor. Cosmico were looking for that 50-50 instead. It's one of those rock, paper, scissors matchups. It doesn't go their way either way. Cosmico are going to take this first game of the series, and like yesterday's grand final, Borky, we see a best of 7 reduced to a best of 5, and I'm going to say something that I know for a fact chat is not going to be very happy with. The Ox got boxed, completely boxed into their own third for almost the entirety of those 5 minutes. This has been dominant from Cosmico, and this final goal as well is just that cherry on top.
Yeah, it really felt far in a few that Ox really had possession of the ball, and whenever they did, it was just instantly taken away from them. Cosmico picking their pockets time and time again, and we could see in the shot differential, yes, Ox was putting on shots, but those were mostly from that center field. They're just kind of putting it towards target, hoping that somebody from Cosmico might make a mistake that they can follow up on. And you're not going to get too many mistakes from a franchise that's made 3 finals in a row. Look at the demo difference here as well. 0 on the side of Ox, And then we have 6 for Cosmico.
It's what happens when you're able to apply that much pressure. Ox Gaming are stuck in their 6-yard box, and at that point, Cosmico can just shoot fish out of a barrel, go straight into that danger area. Chances are, if they're supersonic, they'll pick up a demo or two, at least a bump to open up the space, and that's actually how they did open up the scoring at the early stages. And past that point, it was too much for Ox Gaming to try and recover from. But as game 1 was a reset for Cosmico, you got to expect the same here for Ox in the second. It's both of these teams taking these games by storm, but still, at the end of the day, when all is said and done, and that scoreline and timer at the top of their screen is reset, you never know what to expect. So try and predict all you like here in chat. Game 3 begins. Ox Gaming, now it's your turn.
It's really just going to be a battle of mental here between both of these teams. They're so mechanical on both sides that you really can't give a clear, decisive favorite in that regard, and it's going to be Tim Tam. He sneaks up from the center field, collects his full pad of boost, and then, wait, ball's still there. It's waiting for me, and he gets Ox right back into a swing of momentum.
He didn't expect to have that ball still waiting for him, and for that, I am empathetic. 2 Cosmico players deciding to camp themselves onto their goal line. Someone just has to take the initiative there. Have some responsibility, that selfless play to just force yourself forward. And even if you are beaten, at least your second man has some idea of where that ball is going to go. Instead, completely open, the whole net to aim for Ox. Goal 1 is their favourite, and this game of odds and evens continues to be played in the grand finals.
Cosmico, again, it seems like each teams are just kind of taking turns of who's going to be stuck on their own half of defense. Cosmico bringing out the bumps and the demos to allow this center line to open up, and what a stand there. That save was absolutely phenomenal and must needed, but you have to get another one because here comes forward Hilux. Won't be able to get a follow-up touch. That battle of boost also a factor there and why he doesn't get that touch there, but we'll take now. And he has the sky. He's passed one towards the backboard, tries to drop it down, but it's off target.
Tim Tam, lots of pressure here in this front post. Wants to go for that team pinch, not a double commit. That was coordinated. And Cosmico made it awkward off their own lines, but forward Hilux being the player to make it happen. Maybe I should have a little bit more trust, wanting to 50 his way through 2 players. It was a 66-33, 66 in the favour for that sole player. Progression still made. Cosmico still pressing in this third of the pitch. Hilux once more takes possession on that right wall. Ox Gaming are happy to sit deep, let that ball be played into those safe corners. They're not going to push themselves too far out of position. And Cosmico don't look in wait to go for some of these demos like they were in the game previous. So Ox Gaming can afford to do that. Still 1-0 for Ox Gaming, but it's been on relatively shaky ground.
Yeah, this first minute or so of this game was all Ox on offense, and Cosmico, they didn't fall into that game 1 trap. They were able to will themselves back into this, and since then it's been very back and forth. Sonic, follow up there, can't connect. Eclipse is beaten out by Ford Hilux. But that's one thing that you have to appreciate from these Ox players is that they don't give up. Your touch doesn't come in. They keep following this ball. They keep trying to make a play happen where they can. Sonic there, again, is denied on the backboard, but it keeps possession in. It keeps Ox moving forward. Tim Tam had an opportunity, doesn't quite come down with it, and Ryan Senpai runs out of boost before he can cross center line.
Oh, but that's awkward on the back wall. Caught in that dead zone area right in front of that front post. It's so tough to angle yourself for a save off that position. And they find out the hard way. All the pressure stacked against them in the grand final. Ox Gaming now doubling their lead. And in a game where it has felt like that momentum was starting to turn towards the Cosmico favor, Ox Gaming rip the scales right back.
Ox. That's such a huge step up here. It really felt like Cosmico had your number. They were putting you at your limits, but with that goal, it just completely resets. You're able to reestablish yourself. Your feet are now even firmer planted in the ground. Tim Tam, big 50 there. Ford Hilux tries to collect. Won't get around one. Can't get past Sonic, though. This one sails right back towards Net Eye Flyware. Great position to be in, but look at it. Clips his speed as he tries to connect here with Sonic, but it won't be another for Ox just yet. Cosmico continue to hold on, but they need to get that offense that was so dominant in game one working here in our final 50 seconds.
And it looks like too little, too late, even if Cosmico were able to pick up a bit of pace. Player Where will fancy their chances, although that's just a clear pass to the player of Ox Gaming. You still have to keep your head screwed on. You can't play too frustrated, otherwise that's going to force out mistakes of your own, and the much calmer, composed Ox Gaming defense is going to just sweep this ball back up. Drop down here for Cosmico once more. Finding the bonnet of an Ox Gaming player, but that's a massive mistake. Senpai gets the goal back, and it's going to be all eyes now on the kickoff.
The kickoff. Both of these teams are very good at this one. Is Ox going to bring out their strat here? Pay close attention. Possession is everything in these final 17 seconds. It does go towards this purple side of the field. Tim Tam tries to keep it in, but iFlyware has more boost. Look at Eclipse, though. Eclipse isn't even going to give him a chance to try to breathe here. Cosmico, one final opportunity. Ford Hilux does get us across midfield. iFlyware keeps this one up. Coming across in front of net. Ford Hilux towards the backboard. Can he get the double? He connects on the touch. Still not in. Ryan Senpai, no good either. And with Tim Tam clearing it out, Ox, they will hold on at the very last second and ensure a Game 3 win and an advancement here in the series.
The Bulls saw red in the third game. That's revenge for what Cosmico gave him in the second, and despite the somewhat defensive play style they were forced into by Cosmico, that was enough. Such good coordination, such good ice as well to not make any of those panic backflips, which ultimately was the only reason that they conceded in that final minutes. Other than that, though, getting those attacks, truly making the most of them, and shutting down Ford Hilux as well, who had a fair few opportunities to go end-to-end, grab that equalizer, and perhaps that little bit more 0 seconds as well was looming, and I could see the storyline already. Cosmico doing it again, surviving and pushing a game into OT, but with that theme of survival, this is what Cosmico do. Behind in the series, said it once, said it twice, probably said it thrice. Cosmico never count them out.
Never can count them out, especially with Ford Hilux and the amount of space that he was able to create. But one thing I really appreciate from Ox, I talked about it at the end of game 2, they didn't have any demos. Okay, well, hold on. We're just gonna enjoy this Ox kickoff. Right? How many times is Ox going to have some sort of kickoff strat that just works out time and time again for them, and 2 seconds in, they're already back in the lead?
It was both teams trying to play that delayed 50-50 so their opponents would hit the ball into them and it would go to their teammates in the corner. Ended up being just a bit of a game of chicken where Cosmico still ended up too far away from the ball, so despite Ox Gaming's hit, it snuck its way past that defender. But hold on a minute, full distance shot, this time from Senpai. Cosmico get that goal back. It is a gorgeous looping strike over. Tim Tam just about out of boost to see that ball out of reach. Rather unusual start to our fourth game of the day. But we can say that both bottles have been smashed, and we can let this game set sail.
Yeah, both of those, just the ball sneaking past that final third man. Tim Tam, not a lot of boost in that situation. And we'll just have to see if that trend of scoring here early and quick is going to continue. Eclipse has to get around that last man there for Cosmico. Did a really good job at it as well. It was a certain goal if he didn't get that touch, and as a result, his efforts paying off because here comes Ox on an attack. Ryan Senpai, not a lot of boost, has to fend off the double commit that comes in. Tim Tam opting to shadow back, allow his team back into rotation here. It's a good call because Sonic was able to get that save and clearance.
Well done though by Senpai. Can't get a second touch. Ox Gaming are just going to boom that ball forward. That was a criticism that I have given them earlier in this series. Just recognizing when it's time to take that touch or send it long to fool out their opponents. That was definitely one of those moments to take a touch. No one was really challenging. Had enough boost left in the tank as well. And even if they didn't, you still force out those flicks, go for those low 50s, get a bit creative with it. You don't need endless resources to beat your man. Demo coming out from Fly Aware. That's a man certainly beaten. Gaming to try and find Tim Tam. That would have been an astounding redirect to take the lead in this game. Still having to pick up the pace, cutting from the corner. Ox Gaming denied by Fly again.
Sir Pegasus, in my opinion, this game here is going to be such a turning point in this series. It's either match point for Ox Gaming or Cosmico keeps us in a guaranteed game 6. It's going to be Ox, though, that are hunting for that match point. Not even that, but champion point, as they're just throwing barrages on this net. The artillery strike is there, but Cosmico finally returning to that aggressive demo play style.
And I said it before, I wanted to see players take control. Impressed with what Fly Aware did. It's just unfortunate that that time it did not quite get the job done. It was a great defensive effort from Ox Gaming to hold down that 50-50, read those extra few touches and tip their mouths wide. One thing's for sure, Borky, no matter how this game ends, I expect an extended break before Game 5. This is certainly timeout territory for whoever ends up facing defeats.
And we saw a lot of early fireworks in this game, but since then it's been a stalemate. It's just been a back and forth affair. Neither team wants to be the one that concedes that next goal because it could be detrimental. It could determine the entirety of Game 4. That's a great bump that comes out from Sonic. The follow-up is golden, and Eclipse gets Ox right back into the lead.
And you spoke about could be detrimental. This is calamitous for Cosmico. Beaten at their own game. The bumps come through. The net is left open. And as it stands, Ox Gaming are earning themselves a match point position straight off the kickoff once more. Able to face an advantage. Cosmico, though, were there to react in time. The Doomsday dish will just roll over the bar. And now that time is starting to run out. The fourth man has entered the pitch. Timer wearing those colours of black and white for Ox Gaming. And Cosmico, the power in purple, have to strike back.
Some of these games have been decided by matters of seconds, unless Tim Tam can connect there. Sonic, great follow-up there. Cosmico pinned on their own half here. They are down. They don't have a lot of time here left on their side, and with this Ox offense showing their full ability, you have to wonder, what does Cosmico have in store? What does Ford Hilux have in store? It's a shot that's saved. I Fly Aware once again. Oh, and it's a huge opening. Tim Tam, can he get behind it? He can, and that should be the dagger, Sir Pegasus.
Certainly. They gave it their all. It was one last big push with 30 seconds remaining. High risk, high reward. Sometimes you just have to feel the force of the former.
When you're playing down, especially in such a crucial game of the series, you feel like you have to throw the kitchen sink at them, but they went a little bit too hard with that throw through their back out, and that net was left wide open. They might be able to get equalizer there. No, though, it's Tim Tam again, the savior on the goal line that just shuts down Cosmico, and Ox find themselves back-to-back wins here to put themselves on championship point.
Wow. That is an unbelievable performance from Ox Gaming, and that was quick. Heard the wonderful voice of producer Desolation. The timeout has been called for Cosmico, and the situation is 3 in a row, equivalent to a best of 5 reverse sweep. Of course, within the history of the organization, not this specific roster, however. And how much pressure is on them now. That game was so tight. It was so hard to create those distances, those small advantages. And Ox Gaming, through pure chemistry and sheer will, were still able to push their way over the line. What more can you really ask for from Cosmico?
Ooh, well, I know the saying's normally bold, but you mess with the Ox, you get the horns. Cosmico just... It felt like when they did get that quick goal to respond to them, that they were just going to go exactly how Game 2 went, where they picked up the offense, they picked up the demos. I mean, Ford Hilux had 6 demos recorded in that game. I think it was 8 across the entirety of the team as well. But it just seemed like Ox were a little bit quicker. Those double commits that were planned, as always, calculated, spammed in the chat each time they pull one of those off. You never really know what to expect from those touches either.
You really don't. Such creative teams on either side of the pitch, in all fairness, but one of them found that extra layer of consistency. But it's not just about creativity on the ball. It's been off the ball as well. We've seen a few attempts at those cherry picks, especially on the side of Ox Gaming, and we've seen both teams pull off that bit of physical pressure as well. Once they lose that ball or they find themselves slightly out of position, they make sure that those placements do not go to waste, and that's what has helped keep these games so tight. 3-1 the series score as it stands. 5 minutes away for the potential first ever South African trophy in the hands of Ox Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, look at those stakes. And for Cosmico, they've been in this situation before as a franchise. They've already won 1 trophy this season alone. But for Ox, that pressure has to be riding on your backs. The first team to get a trophy for your franchise and do it in such a commanding way. You've got to wonder what Cosmico is currently saying here in this timeout and how they're going to be able to recompose themselves that they've done so many times.
It's going to take personality. It's going to take courage. Everything is purple about Cosmico, but does that include their hearts? It requires bravery to step up here on the mainstream, come in as that team that is lower seeded, and to attempt to break that first place curse that we have seen so far from players coming in from League Player Curse, of course, for any opponents that they face in this position. Neo Tokyo, like we said, has been our earliest exit from a grand finals. Ox Gaming have a potential record to beat. Standards could be set for the future of the organization. Is this where it all begins?
Ooh, it's the #1 seed hunting for their first trophy on championship point. Are they going to be able to do it, or is Cosmico going to upset? Are they going to show their comeback and bounce back potential that they've done so much this entire season, not only in Elite, but across all of the tables? As this first minute is playing out here for us, Sir Pegasus, it feels like both of these teams are really just trying to see what makes the other one tick.
Eclipse sees that free backboard. It's a tough read there for Senpai, and the challenges are shown. Tim Tam doesn't get this one on target. Nick looks like he could sneak that one inside. There's a bit of a bunch up here at the front post. They have to be able to reorganize themselves. Otherwise, it was going to be a 1-goal deficit headed into their direction. For the time being, though, ball stays out. They've done well to bail away from the play and get that boost economy back on their side as well. Now it's looking for escape. Corner boost stands in the favor of Cosmico. It all makes a difference, and now you're seeing Ox Gaming step back that little bit more. That's why you've got to take control if you're Orion Senpai. Perfect touch forward, but the follow-up was not quite of that same quality.
And a big double commit there from Ox. Not a lot of boost in the tank either here, but Eclipse bails them out. If Cosmico was able to get that further past that center line, it definitely would have been a full barrage of offense developing there that would have taken a while to get out. Ford Hilux forces that through the midfield, and one thing about Ford Hilux is he flew from Australia to SSA to compete this season, and he's here with his team now in the grand finals, and he needs to step up when it matters the most. Ryan Senpai, big booming clear downfield, does manage to follow up behind it. Ford Hilux gets the better of that 50, but with Ox just circling around there on defense, they are ready and primed to make sure they clear these touches out.
In time caught in the corner, Senpai had him chased, but this requires a second man effort. So it is going to be Ford Hilux from deep, just booms that ball forward, has the higher boost players right behind him, ready to pick up from those pieces. Instead, Ox Gaming expertly pass it out of their own defense. Hilux wants another effort forward, blocked on once more. Ox Gaming looks to tighten that vice, and Cosmico pop. Tim Tam bears fruits, and this could be the goal to seal it.
The championship securing goal, is it going to be that one? Is this game only going to be decided by one? We'll have to see. Cosmico now backs against the wall more than ever. They are stuck in this corner. And with this quick bounce back, Ford Hilux is going to deliver. And they're not done yet.
That's the player. That's the player you rely on in these positions. Ford Hilux has got to promote himself to a Ferrari to pull off 3 games in a row. That's a start. Ox Gaming might have thought they had it in the bag. Certainly thought they had it in the box. Cosmico back down. Hilux once more. And it's a well-calculated layup. Perfect communication. And well-intentioned offense. Cosmico grabbed themselves the lead, and now it's Ox Gaming forced on the back foot.
It's a very rare turn of events here after those 2 games. It felt like Ox, this series was all theirs, but you can never count them out. We'll say that as many times as possible. The record is definitely broken, but you have to understand why we say it, because Cosmico dropped that goal. It looked like at any point that's a breaking point in the mental for a team, but here they are now in the lead, looking to force us the distance, looking to get us towards Neo Tokyo. You have to be perfect from here on out, and so far in the second half of this game they've been perfect. But Eclipse, he's been even better all series. He comes screaming in for this one. Sonic connects on the pass, and it could be a looming overtime.
Certainly. 1 minute 11 seconds. An opportunity for this game to end in regulation. An opportunity for this series to be decided. But Eclipse gets that ball cleared off the line by Senpai. He wants to dribble all the way forward, just about loses control, but still can clamp down. One more chance back into the box. Second ball comes off that back wall, but aware. Keeps himself calm. Plays this one back into defense. Happy to start from square one. Where is Tim Tam going? That's a throw. And Senpai is happy to catch it.
Oh, and I don't know if Tim Tam was landing awkwardly there after his flip, but that's a massive breakdown there for Ox Gaming. You got yourselves back in between one, and then it's just a free opening there for Cosmico to be able to reestablish control of this game. We'll have to see now what Ox can do, but the time isn't going to be in your favor. You had a better chance in overtime. Eclipse, big shot, but look at Sonic coming up for the follow-up. Won't be able to connect. Ford Hilux here. He has the solo play capability. He can take us coast to coast. Redirect attempt. Sonic instead just sends this straight up into the sky. Eclipse somehow managing to come up and read that play, but Cosmico, I'm sure, is just going to be happy to clear it out. As Psycho attempt the last ditch of desperation, if you will, here for Ox Gaming to close this game out. And with this clock now approaching 0, that Scramble's going to have to come out here, Sir Pegasus.
This cannot touch the ground. They've got everything to aim for, but Sonic is on the back foot. Cosmico earned their timeout buff, and it's time for a very familiar stadium in these grand finals. Was it ever a doubt? We are going to Neo Tokyo.
Ooh, Neo Tokyo, and that's a map that holds so much prestige and nightmare. Whether it's RSC or RLCS, that's where heartbreak happens. And it will be heartbreak for either of these teams. For Cosmico, it's either goodbye, a very valiant attempt here in the finals. And for Ox, it's knowing that your chance is limited if Cosmico is able to win that. You've had 3 chances to close it out. You have 2 lives remaining here for that all-renowned Champions Field is going to be awaiting.
This would be the most intense recovery grand finals win if they were able to go all the way. But Cosmico, the organization, has already faced defeats in Neo Tokyo, of course, happening on yesterday's broadcast, but it was also Champions Field, where they earned themselves a trophy in the Prospect Division. This truly feels like the swing game. This feels like the one that could decide the Elite Division and potentially duo championships for Cosmico and the first ever for Ox Gaming. This is truly everything on the line.
And that's what these players need to do, is leave everything out there. You can't walk away from Neo Tokyo with any regrets. Make your story felt here on the pitch, and off the kickoff, it's going to be Sonic trying to get that on target, but just a bit high and wide. The Ox kickoff has worked time and time again for them, but to start off Game 6 doesn't seem to fall in their favor.
In fact, that we have started so early is a point of conversation. No timeouts call from Ox Gaming whatsoever, perhaps saving it just in case Cosmico take victory in this game. So the timeout buff, momentum could still be on the side of Cosmico, but that last game was in Ox Gaming's hand. They had a hand of the trophy. It was ripped away once more, but Senpai needs to make another save on his goal line. That shot bounces off ground and too high for Tim Tam. Opportunities already wasted, dreams already sent to die. What's new? It's Neo Tokyo. My goodness, that was almost an own goal.
Oh, I mean, the Ox is already just racking up these shots here in this opening minute. They are showing that they want this trophy desperately. That's now the 3rd one we've seen there from a clip, but it appears that this woodwork is just maybe positioned a little bit lower than some of the previous maps here on Neo Tokyo, because all of these shots have been high and over, and that allows Cosmico these opportunities to try to get past center line. It's a big miss, it's a big shot, and crossbar down. Ryan Senpai is willing Cosmico to Game 7.
And it's another mind trick from this player. Was able to catch a freebie in the game beforehand. And that was a goal that was decisive. 3 minutes 33 seconds on the clock. I doubt that will remain the case. I expect a second goal here in the pitch. It's up to Ox Gaming whether it's going to be the nail in their coffins or their last-ditch hopes.
Oh, look at this here from Sonic as well, trying to give Cosmico a taste of their own medicine, going in for some of those bumps. Ryan Senpai, though, oh my goodness, he navigates through the sea of white defenders. And Ford Hilux, he's just going to jump up, collect this ball. And the player that traveled all the way here is making sure SSA remembers their legacy.
They are begging for their golden ticket to be stamped. Champions Field, the only stadium where Cosmico can crown themselves as champions. It has been their stadium so far. We saw them fight there in the semi-finals, but it's a different pressure It's a different level here in Grands when you face that top side. And Nick showing why he's deserving of that very title. Flyaware vote just skips this one over. Looks to take it alone. Senpai just rolls himself back, available as that backup option. Has to play this ball on the half term. I would have rather seen him ditch that one for forward Hilux. Ball boomed. These redirects have gone to Ox many times before. That's a wonderful team bump as well to push those opponents into their own corner. Not going to be enough to create an attack, but will be enough to delay their defense.
Damn. Looking for Sonic, gets a quick 1-2. Oh, he gets a follow-up as well. Eclipse is already up and reading this play somehow. Tim Tam, no boost, bumps it into Eclipse. That one finally does break through, and it felt like Ox, shot after shot, opportunity after opportunity, even a pool hit. Something has to give, and it finally does.
Sonic just 2 goals away from collecting his first RSC SSA ring. But Cosmico still need to make another mistake. Or we need another magical redirect. They couldn't grab something from the kickoff. And that is worthy of a mention with how much success they have had beforehand. Sonic wants it off that back wall. Hilux though, instead, very fluid control.
I mean, he's just been that breakout player, whether it's the coast-to-coast air dribbles that threaten net, whether it's getting the saves like that to keep Cosmico's lead intact. You have to respect what he's done here for this Cosmico team. Sonic takes that 50 there. iFlyWare tries to keep us moving forward here. Eclipse towards center line. Again, who else other than Ford Hilux keeps it in? Instead, leaves it for Ryan Senpai. He collects some boost for himself. Tries to get a touch there, but a little bit of a backflip. Allow Sonic here to throw another one at this Cosmico net. Tim Tam, not a lot of boost. And for Ox, that's alarming. This is a team that we were talking about in the green room. Always feels like they have 200 in the tank. And with Cosmico being able to suffocate them and starve them in certain points, you have to wonder what can they do to deny that.
Or play more balls of those back doors, have those players available to follow up. This is where you get that extra bit aggressive, not in terms of double committing, remain organized, remain still disciplined, but those demos could be added to the play. And you've at least got to be finding the spaces in the net. That one was straight into the corner, but a Cosmico player was covering. That one won't fight through. It's another save, but 14 seconds once more requires efforts out of Ox Gaming. Cosmico, they're awkward. Ox Gaming have managed to keep this ball out. But once more, Cosmico on the right half of the pitch don't find the back of the net, but do find their place into their home stomping ground. Champions Field. Elite has cooked.
We said Cosmico had to be perfect. We said they couldn't afford any more mistakes, and they have delivered. It is the distance that is required to determine our champion of Elite, and it's no better of a place than Champions Field, Sir Pegasus, that sits just moments away.
Cosmico wished upon a star. And for 2 games that came true, you usually get 3 wishes, Borky. Champions Field could be that 3rd wish, waiting to be confirmed. And what heartbreak this would be for Ox. They've had 3 chances. They've burnt the first 2 of them. And now, I'd go as far as to say they are not the favourites heading into this 2nd game. This is where the Cosmico organization have already been able to pick up a trophy. It's been an org which we felt like was going to pick up a 2nd yesterday. But there's something about this team. There's something about these players. There's something about these hallowed grounds which fall for this Lunar roster. Senpai gets us started. Ox Gaming need to pull off one big turnaround, but Cosmico already get us off to an electric start.
Not only that, but the stakes for both of these teams is Cosmico's chance for 2 trophies in the same season. It's Ox's chance for their first ever. Both of these teams deserving, but only one can be written down in the history books of RSC SSA. And on a Champions Field where all the previous glory of any season has been decided, you have to wonder which team's going to come out on top here. Ox, they do got to get that momentum back in their favor, because right now Cosmico have been controlling. They've been moving this ball around perfectly, corner to corner. Ryan Senpai there won't be able to follow up. Sonic tries to cut it out, but look at iFlyware, the speed going in for the demo as well. Head hunting here.
Ryan might have found an opening! A huge opening goal for Cosmico! It felt like it was out of the blue, but it was one moonlight beam sent from the halfway line to throw Ox Gaming on their backs. Can they pick themselves up from the tip? Flyaware goes up once more. This player soars his way through. A flip reset isn't enough to be 1. It was actually 2 or 3 with the double and triple commits. But Senpai looks to be that hero, the MVP of the late grand finals. They needed someone to step up. They needed someone to make this goal realistic. And he has been the player to do so. 3 minutes 42 seconds though still to hold. Heartbeats are pumping and every single touch counts.
What a comeback this would be here for Cosmico. They lead. They were down here 3-1 in the series. And right now, they are sitting in prime position to take the championship. Ford Hilux is getting involved as well here. It's off the back of Ryan Senpai, who's already gotten 2 to his name. And it looks like those stars are aligning perfectly here for Lunar now.
The Ox needs to make a charge. Hands on heads. Hecky, Cold, and Serenity watch. This could have been their trophy. This had to have been their chance. Their best performing team by far. The 3rd seed heading into this spot. Surely they don't throw it away. Who's to say that's the case? A late chance is thrown in. Still only 2 minutes gone. 3 remain. Cosmico, I've got some locking down to do. That box still needs to be sealed.
But that box, we need to see the Ox use their horns, puncture it, break through, do anything to escape it. Because right now, you are watching everything just be stolen away from you in this series. And I will use that word stolen because it was theirs. They had the lead, they had the momentum, and Cosmico, ice in their veins, have bounced back, and with that threat of dropping out here looming the entirety of the series, that has made them into diamonds. That pressure was all they needed to get themselves into such a rhythmic motion of gameplay. The fluidity between the comms and the chemistry is on display. And as they corner them in here, Sir Biggest, it feels like the chances for Ox are running out, especially with Rule 1.
Even in the grand finals, game 7, they hold down what many consider one of the laws of the game. I'm not sure what I think about that. Ford Hilux makes it 4. Will Ox Gaming grow to regret that?
You have to respect it. I mean, as detrimental it is, and with the trophy on the line, at least you can walk away knowing that you have that honor.
Absolutely. But there is, of course, the honor of grabbing that trophy at the end of this game, and it looks like Cosmico have close to assured it. Where has all that time gone? 90 seconds remaining. Flyaware caught in his own lines. Ox Gaming need an ounce of hope. Could this be Champions Fields' eclipse?
A glimmer A very slight glimmer, but it's enough here. And for this Ox team, we have to pay attention to this kickoff. If they can bring it out the tried and true, this time it won't be able to come through and to what they might have been hoping for. Ford Hilux just clears it down. This clock is going to be a game of giant keep away here now for Cosmico. Just kill as much of it as you can, because you don't even want allow Ox an opportunity to sneak themselves back into this game, because they are capable of it. And on Champions Field, we've seen stranger things. A shot opportunity there. High fly work keeps it out. Ford Hilux gets it downfield. Big bump as well. Oh, and that bump won't allow Tim Tam to recover. That coffin's being lowered into the ground. That trophy is getting primed and ready to be lifted up here, Sir Pegasus.
We know it. Chat knows it. Ox Gaming have to push that down. 50 seconds left. And while you talk about victory laps, it is the grandest deserved for Cosmico. The second championship, the third grand finals, and the Stadium of Champions Field is due to be redecorated with purple flags of Cosmico, those of South Africa, and Ryan Senpai's Kenyan as well. It's an unbelievable performance from them. They stepped up when it was needed most. They don't even allow Ox Gaming to have one more for the road. This has been a relentless side throughout the entire tournament, from play-ins to grand finals. The trophy is Cosmico's.
The second trophy for this franchise, and Elite pulls off one of the greatest RSC comebacks we have seen, let alone in a grand final.
It's not a reverse sweep, but it was pretty darn close. What a turnaround from Cosmico, and Ox Gaming, you have to give them credit. Had them on the ropes for a majority of that series. But Rhino, welcome back. I'm not sure how you were feeling watching that one from the green room, but I think I speak for both myself and Borky. I could do with a rest. That was a series of a lifetime.
It was breathless. It was tireless. It was everything you want in a 7-game series grand final, and that's exactly what we got. Cosmico with what I'm going to coin the gentleman's reverse sweep. I think that's fair to say, right? You know, 3-1 down, you bring it back with 3 games in a row, and what a way to do it. That final game was such an exclamation point on the entire series. Borky, I got to come to you first, because we got to talk about it a little bit from the perspective of Ox Gaming for a moment before we get on to Cosmico. 3-1, you're sitting pretty, you've got 3 opportunities to win the elite tier. What, in your mind, is the one thing that you believe went wrong on the side of Ox Gaming?
My favorite term of all of Rocket League, winner's tilt. You get there towards the finish line. It's the first trophy ever for Ox Gaming, and you start to overthink things. You get into your head of, oh my gosh, we can actually do this. And then that winner's tilt just is always going to be an underlying factor that throws things off. But it also really did just boil down to Cosmico stepping up in the key moments. Ox was there. They kept it close. They threw in the good fight. But at the end of the day, Cosmico just happened to eke past at the very end.
Yeah, they did. Although you say eke past, I got to come to Pegasus. It was an absolute obliteration in Game 7. Really felt that way. But we've got to talk about it. It's one of the talking points of the tournament, one of the talking points of RSC SSA as a whole this season. In your opinion, is Rule 1 important enough to observe in a Game 7 of the Grand Final?
Listen, I'm going to rustle a few feathers here. Absolutely not. If I'm a player, I am breaking that. I'm not going to pretend that I would hold it down. But sometimes, okay, You know what? Here's my honest answer.
Okay.
If it's
Hit me with it.
me doing a Rule 1, chances are I am locked with a more valuable player on the other side than I am for my teammates, so I would actually probably hold it. However, in this circumstance, especially with Ox Gaming, where I felt like such a huge factor of their gameplay was their three-man chemistry. I mean, it's so hard to pick actually the strongest player on that roster. I would have wanted to keep them all on the pitch.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably fair. Right? Maybe let's call it situational and just move on with our lives. But boys, we are going to shut this one down. It's obviously been a very long stream. You two have been with us for Game 1 and the Grand Final. So thank you both for everything you've done tonight for RSC. I'm not sure if either of you are back tomorrow. Hands up if you are. No.
I'll find out.
No,
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'm going to be real.
Maybe-
I don't know.
maybe
I'll
that'll be
find
optional.
out.
You'll see them tomorrow. Maybe you won't. But for now, Sapigasus and Borky, thank you so much for joining us here on the SSA stream for RSC, giving us our grand finals, and what a way to do it. And of course, we are going to shut this one down as well. Let's take a look, as always, at our sponsors for the stream. We can go immediately into that, and then I'll do my wrap-up. Genisus Extreme, of course, our sponsors for this RSC season, behind the scenes, working on production. Thank you so much for all the work that they do for us. And Nearstream as well, providing all of our equipment for the LAN that we put on in the middle of the season, as well as having some very reasonably priced streaming equipment that you can go and buy. Search Nearstream on Google. And of course, Slayer Energy, our wonderful prize pool sponsors, who get our prize pool all the way up to an outstanding 18,400 Rand for the entirety of RSC SSA. But everyone can now breathe. 3 tiers are done. Only one remains. Tomorrow night, it's the big dogs. It is the top tier. It is Master. Can Cosmico go 4 in a row, or will they be stopped by the other exceptional teams that we have here in the RSC? You will have to tune in tomorrow, 7 p.m. SASC, 5 p.m. GMT, 6 p.m. CET, if you want to find out exactly who takes home the final trophy of the season. But for now, our congratulations go to Cosmico Luna, your elite champions for RSC SSA Season 4. We'll see you tomorrow for Master.
They do not know the rising towers of Hillbrow. They do not know the sprawling suburbs of the north. They do not know the sweet sounds of Isiphosa, Afrikaans, Sesotho. They do not know our ways. They do not know our people. They do not know us. We are not waiting for permission. We are not asking to be seen. We are our own region. We are SSA. RSC Johannesburg, RSC Nairobi, RSC Saint-Denis. This is not just a league, it is a movement. 4 seasons deep, and we are only just beginning. We train on 200 ping. We grind through blackout. We fight through silence. And we win anyway. This is Sub-Saharan Africa. This is our fight. This is Season 4.